Live. What's up,
Yes,
everybody? We have a very special guest in the house today. We have Mr. Taigenz. If y'all don't know Taigenz, he's been in the Montreal game for a hot minute. We are going to get through all of that, those stills. So it's good to have you here. This is Bridge the Gap. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and this is the show where we talk to interesting people such as yourselves, and we learn your life story, and we just share it with the people. And I'm not 100% used to doing this in person yet. Oh, man, is the camera being all blurry on us and shit? Shit. Anyway, see, we're learning together. Appreciate y'all coming through. I'm going to give this a little wipey poo and see what happens there.
Oh, man.
And boom. I hope that's better.
Oh, definitely.
All right, still, we're going to run it. Y'all can see us. It looks like we're here in this situation. We are really glad to have you here. And we have like a whole proper opening question to really get this all started. But before that, can you just let the people know, so they have some context, where you started your life, like the very beginning years of your life, where that took place, and like, yeah, where you from?
Yo, first of all, I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate it. My life started in Uptown.
That's uptown in Montreal, so Côte des Neiges.
Côte des Neiges. Yeah. In Montreal, we have an area called Côte des Neiges. That's French for what? I never translated in English, actually. Damn.
Actually, it's the snow
Côte des Neiges.
Oh,
the
shit.
snow
Slope.
The
slope.
No, côte. Like,
Côte is slope.
Like coast.
It's a slope. I looked this up, like a fucking, like the ice goes down the hill kind of slope. This was a conversation in my life.
It's not côte in terms of like
a
coast, like the side.
Well, like it's a slope, like because it's if you look at Côte des Neiges, it's like a hill going like.
But
down,
it's true. But you know, it's crazy that now makes you think of Côte Saint Luc, because Chemin de Côte Saint Luc also goes downhill,
and it's a slope. Yo, but we never look at it like that. Yo, it happens all the time when you live in Montreal. All this French shit you never really learn.
Côte is French for coast. To an extent.
I could be wrong, but this is like I looked it up and it was like the slope of snow slope.
Slow slope. Okay.
Fucking word. That is not what I thought it meant.
And it connects to the mountain.
Absolutely.
I mean, okay. Well, that's where I was born. And we call it Uptown, because if you go on the other side, you're downtown. So.
Yeah, that's a fact. Perfect.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that, we know you start up in Montreal,
yeah.
And then that's going to lead us into the proper opening question.
All right.
It's a little bit of a story, and it starts out with the girlfriend. She washing the dishes one time.
Okay.
She got her phone open, and she's playing that Black Eyed Peas song, the I got a feeling, ooh. She's vibing, she dancing, she doing her thing. And I look at her, and I'm wondering, when in the fuck did this song become chores music? Because like if you think about the song and you run it back to like 2010 times, this is like that middle of the night celebration banger. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's, party. Even the little ones are celebrating. You run it all the way to today, and now it's something you put on when you're doing something mad boring and you're trying to get back to them celebratory moments inside your head. Got me thinking about the relationships we have with music, like how the little 21-year-olds, they're all running around with the drills, they're getting sturdy. They don't know that they're going to be getting sturdy to the dishes in their 30s. They just don't know that that's their future. And it made me realize how music, it's like a journey, right? Like these songs don't change. We as people change, and that changes our relationship with the song.
Facts.
So it made me realize when we watch all these interviews with the artists and the different people, everybody kind of like starts off at like 12 years old when they're already writing or they're already in love with hip hop, as though like nothing ever happened before the age of 11 and anything like that. And it made me realize, there's a good chance when you was a baby in the hospital, there was a song playing that you don't remember and you were being, it was absorbed by you. Like I can remember being like 5 in Côte Saint Luc, and we were in the apartment. We had the gray boxes, the amp and the preamp and the tape deck and the radio with the wires going to in the corner speakers with the ghetto surround sound. Would be like all these Led Zeppelin tapes and rock type things inside the daytime. At the nighttime, though, it was MC Mario club mixes and all the nighttime fucking DJ kind of club stuff that my dad was into. My mom's, though, it was mad different. It was all these discos and musicals and Q92 love ballads and things like that.
Lovers and Other Strangers.
And now basically all this was going on when I had no control over the music.
Yeah.
But I was forced to absorb it all, and it impacted me to this very day. So I was hoping you could start us off, Taigenz, bringing us back to the youngest Taigenz you could remember being, and letting us know what it sounded like to be you before you could control the music in your life.
Yo, a lot of people, I tell people this. Techno.
Say word.
My earliest memories were around techno, around Eiffel 65, Brand Van 3000, Darude.
Word. That's some MC Mario shit right
Yeah,
there.
that's why I laugh, because that's literally Friday nights on the radio, MC Mario playing all the music. That was like the closest thing that I could enjoy, like that. And wait, there was another one. How can I forget them? Harder, better, faster, stronger.
Oh, fucking Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, Jesus, yeah, Daft Punk. And on the flip side, punk.
Say word.
Yeah. Before my head was in the game with hip hop for real, it was techno, punk, and I guess pop was all over. Pop was like kind of like pop was king, so you couldn't not hear NSYNC or Backstreet or Britney Spears. All these people, regardless, they were in your face, anywhere you went. Spice Girls, they were in your face
They were
everywhere
like the
you went.
Maroon 5
Basically,
back then.
yeah. But like when it comes, I didn't have control of it, like you said. But if I'm home and the radio's on, like the
So
radio
your
station, I
family,
could.
had the radio on a lot.
Well, I had the radio on in my bedroom.
Okay, so
Like,
you were like from young,
yeah,
already,
like
exploring music.
yeah. I guess so. And like what my parents had, well, now the music my parents had was more music from my country. Like, so I'm born here, but my family's from Cameroon, so
Okay.
we're playing a lot of traditional music that my parents either they grew up to or they partied to at one point or whatever. That's what I actually had no control over, for sure. When people come over, when family will come over, family friends come over, it's all on those big ass VHS cassettes. Those video mixes, on you just listening to all of the traditional, usually West African classics from artists from Cameroon, artists from Congo, artists from Nigeria.
I've seen like one dude from that part of the world perform, and all I could remember is how much he danced and stomped.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's like that heavy percussion.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, I know what you. And that's common. That's nothing. He was probably
like
it was light work for him. I'm pretty sure.
Like I just thought it was fascinating because like whereas we focus so heavy on like making our vocals proper and like almost doing the singing, it felt like that was secondary to the.
Oh yeah, no,
dance
it's about vibes first. You have like there's certain artists like, yes, obviously a voice depending on the type of, because when I say traditional African music, but it's that itself is a whole world.
Right.
It's so varied, right? But you could have artists that they don't have to sing the best, but they just have to deliver the vibe and the energy, and the rest will take care of itself. You know, we're not super critical. We're not gonna be super critical on certain artists if the voice isn't. At least that's how I took it growing up. You know, you weren't super critical on a certain artist because their voice wasn't technically mastered. It wasn't like, no. It's like, can you if you have an amazing voice, pleasing to the ears, and you have the vibe and the energy, and it makes it involves people. It's all about involvement. That's the energy of involvement. Just everybody's part of the move. Everybody's part of the energy. You go to a party. If you're sitting down, you look weird. It's like, yo, come and enjoy. Even if you don't have to know the song, you don't have to be of the culture. If you're there, you're invited to just enjoy. You know what I mean? So
you're saying from like time, that would be like the a big party you're growing up would be like these parties, a lot of music happening, and a lot of it wasn't stuff that everyone else is being exposed to because not everyone has, you know, African music.
No, exactly. So especially those family gatherings. That's where I heard the bulk of all the music I would learn that is from where I'm from. But it's funny, like this, it ties into my childhood because it was always at home it's that, but if I'm in my room, I'm not really trying to listen to that because my parents play it all the time. And anybody who grew up like me as an African kid, like, can relate. It's like, yo, you're not really trying to be seen here listening to that outside because it's like it's your parents' music.
Right.
You're trying to be cool, so to speak. You're trying to do your own thing. So like on my side, like I said, it was techno. That's music that just caught my own ears, my own. If I had to choose or if I had to, like, you know, I had little cassettes, you know, where you can record the music from the radio. I'll record a mix of like techno, punk, pop, and then I ended up getting into hip hop and R&B. My older cousin, she was big on R&B, so she influenced me a lot on, like, you know, when Usher, Tony Braxton, Monica, all these people.
This is all when you're like young.
I was young, yeah. I'm
like
still
under 10.
I'm under 10. I'm under 10. Yeah. I'm like, this is like between 5 and 10 years old.
That's wild. 'Cause, yo, a lot of people. I mean, I had to ask everybody this question.
Yeah.
most people ain't really getting on music till closer to 10, 11, maybe 12. You know, that's usually when
I think, yeah.
people kind of like at
yeah.
least hit the radio themselves type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact you was on it young is mad nifty. Were your like parents involved in music in some way? Like, do you come from like a musical family?
Yo, bro, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know where my extra step with music came from, because in my immediate family, nobody is like immediate. Like in the household I grew up in, nobody was like super inquisitive about it the way I was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like both my parents they enjoy they enjoy music. My dad would just play his music, play all the African classics, the Cameroon classics. So I'll know all the he'll just play while he's doing this thing. My mom would do her thing, play the music, and just do her thing. But when it came to me, I was like, I don't know. There's something, since I was very, very young, I had an extra gear that was just like, I could just hear my relationship with the music was just different. And sometimes I'll just be really fascinated by certain songs without knowing that I was fascinated by songs.
Right.
You know, just the musicality of it. Like, I grew up here in elementary school, right? Everybody got to play flute à bec.
Yo,
you know
recorder,
what I mean?
the little recorder thing for y'all. Yo, what's up, Jamal Hussein? Yo, that's that
My
little
G.
white flute thing. I have one somewhere in the room.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Nah, I learned to play that Titanic song on that shit.
No, that flute, that little that wooden flute that everybody got to play in elementary school, I was killing it. Like I never really had to practice. I was just killing it. The ear was there, like I could, like everything, the memorization, and where everybody struggled. You know, it was light work for me. You know, but I couldn't explain it. You know, and then like everybody got to take turns and practicing in front of the teacher. Make sure you practice whatever. I barely practiced, but I was always it was easy for me to an extent compared to everybody else. And, you know,
shout out the recorder, man, because that shit is wild to think about. I wonder how many people, like, honestly, if we run it back, played this thing in class. Because I remember they used to bust out the music sheets and they taught us to, like, read music and shit, too.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was kind of like a little intro into music.
Yeah.
At that age.
Yeah.
With the instrument everybody could afford.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, and you know what? Thinking about it now, I think that's a good way to initiate everybody across the board into at least just the basic theories. Then obviously you grow up and you decide if you want to continue developing with it or not.
Everybody can play Mary Had a Little Lamb on the recorder.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
3 notes, you got that, I promise.
So there was that, and you know, that was mixed with the fact that I could just memorize like lyrics so easily. You know, since I could remember. Like, for example, now getting into hip-hop, I remember the first time I told myself, yo, I fuck with hip-hop, was watching, I don't remember the order, but it's, the memory I gather when I tell people is, I remember watching Eminem and Dre perform Forgot About Dre out in the awards. So I was watching, like, just in the awards, and that song was, like, kind of new, Forgot About Dre, and then I saw the music video. And then afterwards, it was still Dre playing, you know, in that span of time. So Dre and M is like a big like proponent of just me getting into hip hop for real. And I was like 8. What? I was like,
before we jump into the you getting into hip hop part, were you like up into the sports world?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Tell us a bit more about what a childhood Taigenz is.
I was playing. So I was playing soccer when I was a kid here in NDG, and so I'm born in Uptown, but moved to NDG when I was still very young.
Okay.
So I grew up. Most of my childhood is in NDG.
Right.
Yeah, my childhood.
NDG is where I'm at, everybody.
Yeah, NDG.
Honestly, it's right next to Cotonej for those that are.
Yeah, like tell yourself on paper it's the same borough.
Like it's really like
the dividing is literally the highway, the carry. It's the border.
And it's like you're like, but it's a.
Snowden Metro is literally the.
Because basically,
it's the border.
It's on some politics shit. The other side's more French, so they were trying to kill the English vote in Montreal. But
anyways, that's yeah. We could If we start now, we'll never get out of here. But
that's a fact.
But yeah, no. So growing up in NG, played soccer. So I was playing soccer when I was a kid. Me and my brothers, my cousins too. Everybody everybody started off with soccer. Eventually got into basketball when I got to high school. But yeah, no, in soccer, like my life as an athlete when I was a kid was actually not the most lavish. Where I excelled in music is where I didn't excel in sports, at least in soccer.
I respect that.
You know what I mean? Like, but like, it's not like I'm not saying I was garbage. I hung around the better ones. I knew how to hold my own around like the more talented players. But you know, my role wasn't. I wasn't an exceptional. I wasn't exceptionally. I wasn't identified as an exceptional player. You know,
Right.
I knew how to play, especially with soccer. Like, for example, my younger brother, my two younger brothers were much more talented than me at young when with them being younger than me. Like, you know what I mean? Like at 8 years old, I was playing, but my brother at 8 was already like twice as better than I was at 8 years old.
Right.
Like, he got recruited to play in the inner city team from the house league for like the next 2-3 years, 2-3 straight summers, representing the borough of NDG. You know, my youngest brother, that was immediate thing. But forget house league, he was already like, I guess it makes sense. You're taking over from your older brothers. But you know, me, I had to like work my way. I had to like try out for the inner city team. Finally, I got in there, but I wasn't getting playing time the same way. Like I would get like it was very up and down, you know. And I would still do my best to just hang with the ones that were better on the team. Like I had really good players when we were young that I played with, and I'm proud of myself to be able to still hold my own around them, you know. But I still I still love sports. Then I got the same thing with ball. Like I got into basketball when I got to high school, for real. Like organized basketball when I got to high school. I don't know if that's too advanced, but that's like if you want to keep it with the age group, whatever. But like from 5 to 10,
Kind of go linearly.
5, 10, 11, you know, from about that till about basically elementary school was soccer, more predominantly playing soccer.
You move into basketball.
High school, I got to more organized basketball.
Were you like up to other stuff? Like, did you have the Nintendo 64 up in the crib?
Absolutely, N64. I had my neighbors at the time. They had Sega Genesis. They had the Dreamcast.
Ooh, the Dreamcast is not something people mention no more.
Yeah. No, Dreamcast and Genesis. My other neighbors had N64 as well, but like they had like my mom bought us N64 with like Mario Kart, and that was the only game we had for like 4 years, and one controller. So you know, funny, this is a memory right here. This is a funny ass memory. So me and my brother were 2 years apart. I have two younger brothers. So my immediate younger one, we're 2 years apart.
Right.
So at that point, it was just me and him. My youngest brother was still basically a baby, and by the way, today's my brother's birthday. Actually, damn! Shout out, happy birthday to G, my youngest brother. It's his birthday today. Well, it's live, so so
see it in the future.
Yeah. Shout out G.
Unless he happens to catch it.
Shout out G. So he's like the basketball phenom in the family. I'll go get to that later, but so so he's a baby. So my other brother, we're in the room. Basically, we played Mario Kart by sharing controllers. Like, I'll do one race, and if like I'm not first place, like we have to create rules so we can entertain ourselves because we only have one controller. One day, by accident, right? Because we can only play single player, those single player modes, right? We never even looked. We didn't really understand what multiplayer was or whatever because we only had one. That was our first console. No, I lied. I remember when I was younger, I was like 5 or 6. I had the Super Nintendo with the gun. But then we went to Cameroon. And I think we left it there with my cousins over there. So we came back. I didn't have it. So then we got the N64 a few years later. So we're playing N64 with the one controller. And then by accident, I don't know if it was me or him, but we put the controller in the slot for player 2. Right? You know, remember the 4 slots? Yeah. We put it in player 2. And that literally unlocked multiplayer mode. Because the N64 thought, since there's a controller in the second slot, the multiplayer mode is playable. So we're like, we thought we unlocked, like we called it, we have a new game. So we're literally, we saw the 2 screens. And we're like, what the we were tripping. But it was just multiplayer. But the thing is that now you're playing as a second guy. The first guy, he's not moving. But there's the mini games. There's a few more features that we unlocked after years of play. So anyways, just random, but that's just a funny ass memory that just came back. Like it's been years I didn't actually think about that. But heavy on 64. Then we got, with friends, you always find games. You got friends to lend games. You lend games to friends.
That like one friend who has all the games you're not supposed to play.
Yeah, or he just has all the games and then he doesn't have time to play all of them. He's like, they were like, can you let me at Super Smash Brothers? Yeah, whatever. Super Smash Brothers. We had it for months. But it's our neighbor, so games are just exchanging back and forth. So, Super Smash Bros, Mario Party 1, 2, 3. I think Mario Party 2 was probably the best.
It was a good time. The Mario parties are not my jam.
Super Mario, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was lit.
Donkey Kong 64.
I never beat it though, but Donkey Kong was lit.
The one on the 64 is one of the greatest video games I ever played that nobody talks about today.
Definitely.
But like the multiplayer in that was fire. It was like straight up like a shooter with Donkey Kong characters and shit. The story mode was insane with unlockable characters, and you had to go back all the time. Like,
but yo, some levels were hard as shit, bro.
Yo, you know what happened to me? I got 75% of the way through that game by myself. Then one day I opened it up and my save file was complete. And I'm like, what the fuck? My little brother, he's about 3 years younger
You're
than me.
lying.
He beat the fucking game on my save file for me.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, yo, it broke me, right? Like, 'cause you can't, like, it's done. Like,
it's done. You have to restart from jump.
This is one of those games where, like, you can't play it when you're older. You had to be young and willing to spend 4 hours looking for the hidden monkey thing you're looking for.
Or like random shit, whatever that is, like in the corner.
No internet
over there, like,
back then. It wasn't like on Google.
Oh my gosh.
And he beat that fucking game.
Yo, that's and Super Mario I never beat. I got Super Mario 64. I got like because you unlock the mansion gradually, and you have to get higher. I think I was at like maybe the second or third to last higher floor. Like there's one point where you get in the hallway and you have to like jump it. It's like lava or whatever. It's the sky.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The big ass paintings on the wall. Like it's a big. And I know you're getting close to. At this point, I think you have like probably had like I think to beat the game you have to get 100 stars or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But I got like maybe 70 stars, 75 stars. But the levels get harder, bro.
And you have to go back to the.
And when you lose, like the checkpoint is so. This is like before. The games were very unforgiving, like at that time, bro. Like,
there was no
if you lose, you're going all the way back from like.
Yeah, no, you're the things all the way at the top. It might take you 2.5 minutes to get there, and if you fuck it up, too bad. Do it again.
Yo, but nah, good times, man. Yeah, so that, and then obviously moved up to PS1, PS2.
Fair. Were you into like drawing and comics and all that side of life?
I thought I had an interest in that. I tried my hand a few times, but I realized I didn't. Like I tried to draw my own. Maybe it was just a Pokemon influence at the time. I tried to draw my own, invent my own Pokemon, and like I tried to invent my own like what was his name? Was it Sparrow? Spearow, yeah, like a bird, whatever. Like I had imagined. I just try, and then you know what? No, I'm gonna equate this to a family friend who I think she just fucked up my dreams at that point in time, and I never. Because I remember going. She was at the crib, and like, I just showed. I'm like, oh, look what I did. I was like in what, grade 3, so I was probably 9. I'm like, oh, look what I did. Do you like it? She's like, no. And then she started laughing.
Dry.
And then I think since then, like that, I never drew. Like I never tried to do that again. Since then, I'll stick to stick figures if I have to draw. Like I think I just unlocked like a.
Like I wonder if because you were already because you're doing music in a sense at this point, you already know you're special there, and you're finding out you're not special at the other things at the same time. I wonder if that like
maybe
had this little impact on you when you were younger. Because like I know I got cut off the basketball team at Wager. Like there was no way in fucking hell.
Wager, I haven't heard that name in a minute.
I'm 5'7" and I can't run. I was never gonna make that basketball team, but like. That taught me a big lesson. Maybe I'm not meant for basketball and shit. And so, like, I wonder how much these things, like, kind of push you to a point where you're doing music like you are today.
I don't know. It was well, you know, that's, like, on the brighter side of my childhood because there's I don't want to say darker, but there was a challenging side where, because I subconsciously, I guess, knew I was good with the music, but it wasn't really, like, I don't want to say early in my childhood. I don't think it was something that people identified.
Right.
Like that really tried to identify and nurture it in me.
Yeah, especially back
then.
then.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like outside of like the music teacher that just like.
Because also like just to add layers, like you might be looking at it today where like you want to make music, it literally can be done on like $100 type thing.
Yeah, which at the time that was not the case.
That was not the case.
That's not the case. So it's like nobody was like, yo, like yes. The being able to, for example, memorize lyrics so well at that age, you know, like you're a kid, like your English is not that developed, but I'm able to memorize complex songs and lyric structure and everything and understand. I literally could understand song structure before I knew that was like I could tell like this is like a verse, this is a chorus, this is a bridge. I could hear and I understand what they were before I knew the terms to that. I just knew, okay. And then, like, especially with pop songs, where at one point, towards the end of the song, they'd turn it up another gear and go to another key level. Like, I understood that very young. But nobody around me could identify that I understood that and try to be like, and put me in a space where I could cultivate that talent that much more. It was really something that I guess with time, surely with time or by consequence, I ended up doing myself,
Right.
you know, and that, I guess that became like the song of my life, if you will, because up until now, like it, you know, people may think, yo, I'm putting myself in positions because, you know, people see like, yo, you're moving, you're doing. I'm like, yo, but like, that's because I had to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I had to do it. No one was really in my corner and be like, yo, you know what? You're good at that. Okay, let me put you in a situation where you can be even better than the kids around you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's only I realize this now, like, we're grown, where, you know, we can reflect back on that. But at the time, it was, you know, and that became, that led me to writing, you know, songs at 11. But that was because, like, I don't know if I was depressed, but I was going through some shit mentally. You know what I mean? And that helped me. That helped me.
Relate to that.
Yeah. So,
were you encouraged to write a lot at school?
write raps?
Well, just write.
That's the funny thing. I hate writing. I hate writing essays.
I like the short stories.
I hate any. When it came to academics, I was always more comfortable with the math, with the numbers. I hated writing essays for grammar, for French, for English, whatever. Even to this day, not that I never learned. Like, you learn how to write essays to an extent, but I purposely.
They're pretty bad at teaching us.
They're
English schools in Quebec. Dead ass sweet. I get the Cégep, which is the thing after high school in Quebec. That's like sort of college, and the first thing the English teacher tells us is, "Fuck what they taught you in high school. It's not gonna help you." And I'm like, damn, man. That's a big lesson.
It's and that you went to English school, French school, yo. I went to French school my whole life. Like, it's not.
It's even worse.
It's worse. Like, they don't. First of all, I don't know if we're getting off topic, but fuck it.
Nah,
First of all,
it's the show.
the French. I'm of the opinion that the French education school system, at least for me, never made me appreciate learning French. And it never made me appreciate French academically. Yeah, I know I'm bilingual. I know I'm fully bilingual. I know how to speak French, and I'm glad that I can speak French. You know, wherever I go, I can use French, and it's perfect. But the learning of it and everything, like, it makes you hate it, bro.
Yo, it's a fact, though.
It makes you hate it.
I didn't even appreciate French at all until I met people that weren't from here, and they were like mad interested in my lame ass French skills. And I'm like, hold on, you think this is hard? And they're like, yeah, French is so cool. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why did Quebec never tell me that?
Nah, it makes you. Anyways, yeah, it's like, so encouraged to write academically. Yeah, they want you to write for the homework and all the exams and everything. But that too, no one put me to the side and be like, yo, you write raps? Okay, let me show you how to write so you can appreciate it, and then add it to your.
Us, like, write poems and shit in English class.
That was the only thing I did like writing, because I was low-key cheating. I was writing raps. Like, in high school, I remember in French class we had a poetry party where it was literally learning the basics of poetry, which I understood already from learning song structure. There's certain parallels that I could take from, and I could be okay. Obviously, a verse in a song that we know is not a verse in a poem. A verse in a poem is a line, which we will call a bar.
Bro, that shit fucked me up.
A verse in a song, the equivalent of that is a stanza.
Yeah.
In French, strophe. You know what I mean? And two stanzas, like how the stanza, depending on how many lines are in the stanza, dictates the type of stanza it is. You know what I mean? Like, you have I'm losing the word, but like
pentamic.
Yeah.
You
you have and monosyllable, décasyllabe, alexandrin. You know, where you have verses with 12 syllables.
Dude, it's mad structure.
Yeah, it's mad structure. But I could grasp that quickly. I just changed how I see a few words in this context, and then, you know, we had the exercise of writing poems. At this point, I'm in high school. I've been writing songs at this point for so long, and it's like, yo.
So what got you into writing songs? Like, I know you said you kind of got into hip hop and basketball around high school.
Yeah, just well, late elementary, early high school. So basketball. I mean, I was playing playground ball since I was a kid, but like organized basketball from what grade 7, I guess, grade 7, grade 8. Well, I started with school team, and then eventually played in the city ball at Sun Youth. Shout out Sun Youth. But getting into music was, yeah, I think it was a mental necessity because at that time, you see, like how I say about the music, yeah, maybe there's like there's an exceptional ability I had, but because the outside world didn't actually see it, that is an exceptional ability. I didn't think it was an exceptional ability, so I didn't actually. So now added to the other things that I didn't really excel at, I just thought I was like, yo, what am I actually good at?
So you like you didn't like it's like looking back, you see you were killing it, but at the time, like nobody was like you're dope at this.
There's
so
no
kind of put it in the same.
there's no there's no external validation, and I wasn't told first like. People can say, yeah, you don't need, it's easy to say, yo, you don't need external validation. Just believe in yourself. You validate yourself. But you don't know how to validate yourself if you don't know how to validate yourself.
Fact.
I didn't grow up people telling me, saying, yo, you need to validate yourself. You're good. I just, day by day, in fact, I dealt with the opposite. I dealt with people, you know, I don't want to say bully, but like I was the butt of the jokes. I was going through it with people. You know what I mean? I was literally, I wasn't even neutral. It was the opposite of people bigging you up in your in your everyday situation, in your everyday. And that all started, number one, because you look different. I'm African. Teacher fucks up my name in grade 1. So that sets the tone for my whole elementary school life. So now when people find a jingle, they fuck up your last name. People enjoy fucking up your last name. That's your identity. That's you. You go home. Your parents don't really give you the best advice to how to deal with it. They just tell you ignore this shit. So now you develop a poker face. So then, but you go back, you have to deal with this every day at school. So then now, because people are making fun of you, other kids follow suit that, oh, it's cool to make fun of him. They don't know me, but because I'm making fun of you, I already don't like you.
Exactly
so it's a domino. And then I'm here. I'm not, and I can't even stand out. At least early in elementary school, because ball, I'm not exceptional. Soccer, I'm not. I'm playing, but that's fine. And who really cares about being exceptional in school? Who cares that you're a straight A student socially?
I mean, nobody really. You're not really getting points back then for that.
You know what I'm saying?
Points since Big Bang Theory, but it's a different world.
It's a different world at that time, you know. So, and then you go home, and it's like no one could really be like, yo, how. Are you okay? Like, how was your day? Like, I wasn't getting so.
Nobody did.
None of that. So I'm
like what, early 2010s before anybody even started talking about therapy.
In that yeah, and with that intention. So I'm just like, yo, hold this.
Don't appreciate. Yeah, this is from Lindell. He like a long time. He's in Florida.
Okay, word. Shout out.
He's like, don't appreciate learning French. Just appreciate the girls it gets you. Because he's of the mindset that si tu parles français,
you get girls. Yo, listen, in Montreal, that's the bare minimum. So no one looks at you because you're bilingual.
No, hear me out. Let me tell you one thing. Si tu parles français avec un accent comme ça, it's completely different. Because now you speak in exotic French.
I guess.
And I'm telling you,
my French became very French because of the French people I started hanging out with. I never had a Quebecois accent, so
you like proper with that. I'm saying that if you can develop like a bad accent but still be clear, I'm telling you, it's the.
I guess when I go abroad, my accent is weird to people, but they fuck with it. So
it's like that here.
Know? Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, it's pretty basic to speak French in Quebec. But go to Florida. It might be basic in parts of Florida, but it's not basic in all of Florida. True. But yeah. Fuck, what was I saying? Yeah. The domino effect of whatever. So to get into writing, it was literally hip hop. It was literally just sitting one morning, it's raining outside or whatever, and I'm just like, even before that, like I tried to start writing, but I was shy about it. Like I kept it to myself. I kept it to myself. I was like, grade 4, grade 5, I started writing whatever, but, my little note, like the diary, whatever, my equivalent of a diary, but I'm just trying to write raps. I'm listening to Blueprint 2. I'm listening to, early 50, the mixtapes. I'm listening to, fucking DJ. Yeah, I'm listening. Yo, this girl, this Russian girl, shout out to Katya, man. She was the first girl who introduced me to mixtapes. I don't know how,
one random white Russian girl in my class, she's like, yo, you know DJ Clue? I'm like, how do you know DJ Clue? She DJ Clue, the Professional Part 2 mixtape, she lent that to me.
That's wild.
With other mixtapes, with other the early 50 mixtapes, she had some. And I'm just like, mad music that I never knew existed. So
nobody knows that shit existed. Like, even right now as you're saying it, there's gonna be people who hear what you're talking about and don't even understand.
Yeah,
really.
yo, look that up, man. That's
And it's hard to look up. So the quick version is, when everything went on the internet, it was all the legal music that went on the internet. But what was happening at the same time is a lot of people were dropping mixtapes. So DJ Clue would go and get like songs from everybody.
Yeah.
And they would just exist on this one mixtape that was only sold in the streets of New York.
Yeah.
And then it was bootlegged and moved to other cities.
Yeah.
So like, to get this type of shit usually meant you either went to New York,
or you're fortunate to find somebody who got the plug. Yeah.
Or a friend who did that shit. Like, you probably can't find 95% of these mixtapes easily today and right now. Like, you just, they're just kind of, if you have the disc, you have them. And people who have them, they know that shit, so they hoard that shit.
Yeah. So it was really dope to get my hands on that, you know, at the time. And I'm even happy. But the DJ Clue Part 2 mix, the Professional Part 2, is available on Spotify. I go back to it sometimes. It brings me back memories. So a few of them slip through the cracks, but a handful of them they will never be found again, which is unfortunate. But so all that put together gave me, I don't know, I just decided to just write for myself. And then at one point I had a notebook, and, you know, I wrote like a whole page of bars, like, you know, just, and then the next day, this one kind of like, it was literally a 180, where a friend of mine, shouts to Darren, he was in class, and he's like, yo, what notebook? He's like, yo, it's my rap book. He's like, your rap book? I'm like, yeah, I'm like in grade 5 or grade 6. He's like, let me take a look. He looks at it, he's like, yo, like, I was expecting him to clown it, because I'm at this point, even if you're my friend, like, tell yourself, I had such a jaded look on friendship that I didn't even believe all my friends at that time, like, for them to be my friends 100% all the way. Yeah, you know, proximity, we're friends and everything, invite me to birthday parties and everything like that, but in the back of my mind, I always had, like, any given moment you can just turn on me. Since like 5-6 years old, I had that train of thought. So I was expecting him to clown it, but he didn't. He was bigging me up, and I was like, oh shit. He's like, yeah, yo, that's not, yo, this is, he's like, yeah, this is dope. We freestyled the remix of Welcome to Atlanta. He said, welcome to DG.
Love it.
And we did that, and we rapped that at lunchtime with the, you know, the hall monitors. We had there was one hall monitor, she was beautiful, man. Her name was Miriam. Shout out to her, she was cute. And you realize now, like, you know, hall monitors, how old are you when you're a hall monitor? You're like you're in C-Jet, bro. She was probably like 18. She was probably like, and we were like, what, 10, 11 or something like that. So, but she, you know, we rapped for her, and she gave us like this big ass googly eyes, like, oh my God, you guys are so good. And we're like, yo, she's like, well, remember when you're famous? It was, since then, like, it became this like towards the last 1 or 2 years of elementary school going to high school, where like things kind of changed in terms of how people viewed me and like the image I had with people, where it was like, yo, shit, like,
the rap
this is like, you know, the beginning of me understanding that, yo, I'm actually nice at this for real, and now the world is starting to respond. So moving forward, that helped a lot with my self-confidence. You know, like, people see me today, they think I'm like, yo, I had a big self-esteem, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, you know, when I was a kid, just because of all that was happening. So that's why I tell people, like, yo, hip-hop literally, like, at least mentally, emotionally, like, saved me, because I don't know what rabbit hole I would have gone through going into high school, where, you know, this is when, like, it's the wild, wild west, you know, for some people. High school, it's a new world. You don't know what you can get into. You don't know if you don't have to find yourself at that time, but it's like you're in the search for yourself. But I went through that before I got to high school. So I've been known who I was by the time I got to high school. But because other people are now looking for themselves at that point, it's like there's a mismatch. So some people may not understand what you're saying or how you think, because, you know, you're grounded already, but they're not. So that's
You've been doing music for like 2+ decades.
I've been doing music longer than I haven't.
Like, that's a crazy,
I know,
like, thought when you like run that math. But so you're like going into high school, which for us, if you're anywhere else, is at 12 years old-ish.
Yeah,
In
12,
grades.
13, yeah.
We go to grade 6, then we have 5 years of high school, then we have 2 years of some next shit. Then
Yeah,
it's
university. We don't have middle school.
Yeah, it's all different up here. So, rest of y'all out there, it is what it is. But that's a wild thought, right? To still be like in a position where by like 12 years old, you've already been writing songs, and you're walking into high school having kind of gone through a bit of a transformation of self-developing confidence, because most people don't be starting that shit till they're like 15.
No, facts. If that. Some people people listen CJEP in college. You know what I mean?
Some people, they never happen.
Some people never, and yeah, some people it happens when they're 40.
Yeah, I've
you know what I mean?
That shit, and it's like that's low key. That's the shit that makes me want to get more focused, like now, or like when I started to really push, because you don't want to be so unfocused at that age.
No, like I'm seeing it now. Like there's people that are now trying to find their full confidence in themselves as grown adults, and it's like it's not the same, because some of these people got kids. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, it's different, man. So my bad. You were saying I didn't want to.
Nah, it's all good. It's how the show works. It's just kind of tangents as we go through your story, and then the next thing you know, time has passed, and we've gotten a whole bunch of information out of Taigenz.
True. But yeah, that's going into high school. That's me. I'm still. Now it's high school, so I'm still like finding my way. But at least I know I have that in the back pocket.
And which high school did you go to?
I went to Montreal, TMR.
Okay, that's a French one.
Yeah, in Ville Montreal, in town of Montreal.
And you were living in DG and heading out there.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Okay.
I wanted to. Like I didn't want to go to school close by like Saint Luc or whatever. I wanted to leave the area.
Why?
I don't know. That's the other part of me. I always had a wandering mind.
Okay.
I think I've always had a wandering. Well, I don't want to say always, but I guess mixed with that transformation of self, if you will. My mind, I allow myself to wander and want to see things outside. Because before, so just to go back on the darker side of that childhood, I was also isolating myself a lot. I would isolate myself where I would just want to be alone. You see, like N64, I'll just be one in the summertime, in the dark in my room, just playing N64. Like to the point where it looked like it wasn't healthy. Like my pops comes in the room, he's like, "Yo, what are you doing? Go play outside with the kids." I'm like, "I don't want to. I didn't even want to go be with other family members. I just wanted to be," to the point where I tell people I feel I was going through something because there was a time where I did not want to eat no meat. Pause. No chicken, no beef, no nothing. Like it was weird. And I'm from a family where it's not really African family. Almost African meal is typical. There's chicken. There's some kind of beef involved. Some kind of, and I don't want none of that. And like everybody was looking at me crazy for a certain amount of time. It didn't last too long, but I remember I did not have the appetite for it. And I know this is not just a change in diet. This has to be related to something up here. So.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially if you feel like the world's closing on you.
Yeah.
And at the time, it isn't exactly like boys were being given tools to deal with emotions.
Oh, no, for sure not.
I don't even know if we're being given tools to deal with emotions yet, but at least it's being talked about.
Yeah, at least being talked about. So now I was dealing with all that. So, but now with that transformation of self, if you will, that external confirmation that I am nice about something, and then me reaffirming that, and then like once now my skill is put to test with other people, like I see that I'm actually like.
Is there other rappers in your high school? Like, cause usually
that's literally where I was getting at. So I get to high school, my first year of high school. I'm still kind of like those who know me about with the music. That usually is because they from elementary as well that came with me. But the ones who I just meet there, they don't really know that part about me yet. But at that time, you had the older guys. There was like two or three older guys, and maybe 2 or 3 years older. They were known for being the rappers of the school. Like to the point where like they going around the hallways like, "Yo, mixtape on the way, yo, mixtape guys." And then like everybody's like, "Oh shit, okay, we're looking forward to that." And I'm just like, "Oh shit, these guys are grinding for real." Like mixtapes, whatever. Me, I couldn't in my head. I still couldn't imagine the idea of trying to convince people or trying to like promote myself and market. But basically, that's the first forms of promotion and marketing, right? So in my head, I'm like, "Yo,
that's still crazy." Like I didn't have nobody hustling mixtapes in my high school.
No.
Nah, I mean, to be fair, Wager was like really small at the
I guess,
time.
yeah.
And while I remember a lot of pounded table beats and freestyle.
Oh yeah, clips.
But like I never really, it was that way.
Grinding, yeah.
But I never really saw people like trying to really push mixtapes in the hallway or ever see anything like that going on. So it's wild to think that like that was happening right
No,
in
that
front of
was
your
happening.
face.
That
Like,
was I remember that was happening. I was like, yo, all right. I took a mental note of that, and then so I guess no, I don't want to say full circle, but like the end of that transition where now it's fully confirmed that like, okay, like I'm me, like I'm nice at this shit. Is at the end of high school, um, the school talent show. At the end of the school year, school talent show. It was the first. It was the first year organized that same way. The way it was organized that year was like the first time it happened, and I'm in my first year of high school. I go to the organizer who's putting it together. The head of student body, whatever. Shout out to Sandra. I always tell the story. I always got to shout Sandra out.
shout out Sandra.
Sandra Bisharani. So Sandra. So that person when I was a kid, when I said I was a kid, couldn't really identify, who I like. She ended up kind of being that. I guess in hindsight was like kind of had that position in my life, at least in the short amount of time, of just like I go up to her. I'm like, yo, I wanna be part of the school show, but I'm not sure if I should do it. She's like, well, she encouraged. She's like, listen, register, come for the rehearsal on Thursday, and if you really feel like you can't do it, then it's cool. Come on Friday as a participant, and then maybe next year. I said, all right, safe. So I gave the registration and I told nobody. Just like on Monday, rehearsal is Thursday. I don't know what the fuck I'm rapping about. I wrote the song Wednesday.
Where'd you get the beat?
It was a Diddy beat. Clinton Sparks Diddy, Run This City. Like,
how'd you get the beat?
Yo, at this point, I would just be listening to instrumentals all the time. Like, I was instrumental.
So where were you getting them?
I was getting them all over. I was getting them. There was hipstrumentals.com. There was.
Okay, so we're in like the Napster internet era, right?
Just after that, like, this is still, I guess this is late LimeWire era, if you will.
04, 05. Like, I don't.
Yeah. Exactly. My first year of high school was 04, 05.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is like Napster. This is late Napster. This is like LimeWire. This is Kaza. This is Morpheus. Oh shit, Morpheus. So that's happening.
But you had like you also had access then to like the early versions of SoundClick was around.
SoundClick, yeah. I had to actually, yeah. This is like wild. Oh my gosh, we'll get to that. But SoundClick was the Wild West at that point. It was just like, yo, no beat tags, no nothing. Nobody was paying for leases. Fuck that. You just download the beat straight off, full wave. Like, yo, until producers got savvy. Yo, I know mad niggas got robbed. But producers too. I guess a lot of them probably got their name up there, you know what I'm saying? But so it's, I get this.
Have to get developed.
Yeah, no, it had to. It was the Wild Wild West all over. We were just trying to find beats all over, like blog sites, beginning of blog sites that are just dedicated to posting. Oh, J Arms. I don't know if J Arms instrumentals. He literally, I don't know if he was a DJ. I don't know who he was, but he was a figure in the industry at this point. His name is J Arms, where he just dropped mixtapes of instrumentals every like month, but it's the instrumentals of all the latest songs that came out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Some of them are just loops. Some of them are the actual instrumentals, like mixed the same way, broken down the same way. So me and this is now like I started moving with with the group I was with, Black Glove. So we started. We're instrumental fiends. Like we're just like.
How did y'all get linked up?
So it started with, it was a gradual thing, but it started off my first year of high school. Alonsky reached out to me because him, like, I've known him for a very long time. Like, his sister is one of my closest friends. So the family and everything was all cool, tied with the family. So he came up to me. He's like, "Yo, I'm trying to rap too." I didn't know because he was very quiet. I didn't know he was a rapper like that. But then I went to the crib. Not like this. I usually go to the crib just to hang out with. But then this time we go. I'm like, "Yo, We started writing. We started like playing around with equipment and everything, And then it literally started like that. And then over time, more guys that that I was already cool with, that I played ball with, that actually revealed that they was trying to get into music as well. So like me being more vocal about it, I guess it helped transition other guys that had the interest but didn't know how to start off as well. I don't want to take that credit, but I mean, I think that's a domino effect, if you will. Like friends do things and then it influences other friends to try it, and then
it makes sense. Like, I mean, if you're the one that happened to maybe get access to it first and then put other people onto it, that's just kind of how it ended up playing out. All these people probably still have their own versions of how they got to that
Absolutely,
point.
absolutely. But
So it doesn't take away from that.
yeah,
But like, yo, everybody's story has that moment where they see that person where it's like, okay, say word. How do I become that, or how can you help me get to this point? And then it just happens to work out like
you
that.
know, it happened, and we're kids, right? We're between 10 and 13 years old. Like, you know, we're just really kids. We're just doing whatever. Like, nobody's guiding us. We're literally using our judgment every time to make every next move. So we're just learning as we go. So getting beats, so all that. Like, I write the song for the rehearsal for the talent show Wednesday night instead of doing my homework, and and I memorize it. Like, I was able to like I said, this is one, like, being able to memorize shit quick helps. You know what I'm saying, in crunch time. So I perform. The rehearsal is Thursday. We do the mic check. I didn't do the full song. I did like half of it, but people that were in the crowd, everybody else part of the show as well. But some people were surprised, like, "Yo, what are you doing here? You're a rapper? Oh, I didn't know you rap." I'm like, some of the older people. But, you know, they were like, okay, they were lukewarm about it. Nobody was like, oh my gosh, whatever, you know. But even me, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm already here. Fuck it. Like, I'm gonna do it, you know. So I confirmed with Sandra. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do it, whatever. So the next day is the show. It's a ped day, so there's no school. So we get to school early just to prepare. And doors open at what? I think doors.
You to come into school on a ped day by a talent show.
Yeah, because talent show I think doors open at 6.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So just like till we get there at like 1 or 2 p.m. You know, ped day. So like teachers are still in the school, so school's still open. But yeah, we'll get there at 1 or 2 p.m. to get ready. You know, general rehearsal once again. Like, you know, kind of everybody just skim through just to make sure everything's okay. Now it's showtime, and so what they did was this is when, like, they kind of fucked me up. Not did it, but it was like that's when I learned to be aware of stay on your feet, because anything could happen anytime. It's the first half. There's 2 halves. This first half. Oh, mind you, everybody's looking forward to the older guys because the older guys were rapping.
Right.
So everybody, like me, is like, okay, this new kid, whatever. They're looking, yo, they gonna kill it. You know what I mean? So, the show is showtime. I start. I'm like, the number before me goes up. They finish, and then it's time to present me. I gave him, at the time my name wasn't Taigenz. At the time my name was Young 10. Because 10 is the initials of my government. So TE for my first name and N for the last name. TE is for Terry. And they announce, oh, coming up next, oh, le prochain numéro, secondaire 1, no, first performance. This is my first performance. Applaudissez pour make some noise for Terry. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? That's not the name I gave him, bro. Like, give me my fucking, give my government name out like that, bro. Like, so that was the first, that's what came to mind. I'm like, yo, what are you doing, bro? Like, but that already throws me off. I'm like, first of all, that, you know, but whatever. I get on stage, and like, it's pitch black. Like, it's lights on me. I didn't, you know, you're not used to the spotlight. You don't know how the lighting's gonna be. It's pitch black. The beat starts, and that intro was long. It's like 25 second intro.
Ooh. If they don't know who you are, that's a
long intro. Time. I'm just on stage with the mic in my hand, and I am nervous, bro. I'm nervous, and like, I have a memory blank during that intro. Maybe like from 3 to 5 seconds before I start rapping, I just forget everything that I wrote the day before, the 2 days before. Until about like half a second, it's time to rap. That first word came out was I, and then when I came, this next word came out. Then the first bar came out fully, and then the next line came out, and then after like 4 bars in, that's when I learned, like, you know, you internalize it. The flow, once you know, you internalize the flow, the words come with it. You know, that's what I learned on the spot. Then I got comfortable after verse 1. This is a 3-verse song. This song is 4.5, like almost, like, it's long. The chorus is long. The verses.
Back then, that was a normal.
It was a
song.
standard. Yeah. It was a standard.
2/16.
The last bar was like 24. The last verse was 24 bars. The chorus was like 8 bars. So, you know, but
good length.
Yeah, good length, healthy length of a song. And it's my first performance, bro. Like, after verse 1, now I'm getting comfortable. I start moving left and right. Then I gradually start seeing the faces of people because my eyes got adjusted to the light. Then at the end of the song, like, I'm like, yo, it's another outro of like 30 seconds. I start crip walking and Harlem shaking. everybody's like, oh shit, yo, go to go to. Everybody's like, yo, going crazy. Like everybody is like literally going crazy. Like I'm clapping, I'm here, and then I'm like, all right, the beat, it just like doom. So I timed. I'm like, all right, y'all, I'm out, peace, boom. I just walk off stage. Yo, my heart almost jumped out of my chest. But like I'm hearing everybody go crazy. I knew I was good because the older girls came up to me like, oh, he's so cute, na 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 na. You know what I'm saying? Give me hugs and shit. I'm like, all right, yo, I think I killed this still. And I went downstairs and apparently people were saying encore. People came up like, yo, people were screaming encore, encore. I didn't hear that because at this point I ran like in the backstage was like backstage, the auditorium under, you know, so I can't really hear well. But I was just like, yo, my hands were shaking. But like people come like, yo, they were saying encore. But like that was like the close, that was like the final chapter to say the final chapter and beginning of the next one where it's like, okay, like the world has seen you, the small pocket of the world has seen you and unanimously understands that you got talent. That's and then since then now people are checking for me every year. People check for me at the show. People come to see me specifically. The next year I get into a freestyle battle with the older guys in the high school in the hallway.
Your high school had that talent show. Like I don't think we had a talent show. We had dances, but we didn't have no talent show.
No, we didn't have dances though, but we had that talent show became like
public speaking though. So that shit was kind of that's kind of like for me. I had a lot of that feeling through public speaking, not necessarily talent shows, but anybody that I know who did this high school talent show thing, and like I don't know if you've seen what End of the Week Quebec is doing with the high school kids right now.
Yeah.
Bro, high school kids, that's a different game.
Yeah.
It's almost like your career will never be as good as high school in a sense. Like nobody's ever going to love you like when you're in high school like that.
Nah, because it's a moment. It's a moment in time. It's like it's your own little world that's created in that short moment in time. And then if you're the man, then it's you're remembered for life. You know what I mean? You're remembered for life. So it's like I'm happy that like literally high school was like the 180 of elementary school. You know, like people miss their childhood. Like I literally have a in my plug in my song 1:15 a.m. off my EP. I literally addressed that. I have the last 4 bars. I say I miss my old hood and not my childhood, but in my childhood I found my manhood. So now that's my hood. So now that's my hood.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, I have to. You see the floor. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
But yeah. So it just
like that too. It'd just be like that sometimes.
So it's.
But I think that's cool because basically what we just did was talked about 4 bars of one of your songs for like 40 minutes or an hour even.
That's crazy.
No, but it's your story, bro. Like end of the day, like a lot of the stuff that's gonna happen in your future life. You know, like it's gonna get well documented, but a lot of people really ignore like all the foundational elements, like the fact that you're where you're at now. Part of it is that you would clock like 10,000 hours probably before you turned 18.
Yeah, I think so.
And the fact that you had like real show experience, learning how to deal with audiences in high school. Where arguably they're pretty unforgiving.
Oh my, yo, what if yeah, like it was. Everybody told me that, like, yo, if you were trash, bro, my friends, I'm laughing, but they're honest and it's true. Yo, if you're trash, bro, they will let you know. They will let you know. Like high school crowds are unforgiving, like unforgiving. So
all you gotta do if you don't believe me is take the bus and listen to high school girls talk right now. Meanest people you'll ever hear.
Facts. So if the high school girls was fucking with me, I think I did a good job.
Facts.
I think I did a good job. Yeah, the old
That's where it's like you really pulling it at that point.
Yo, like.
So basically, like, how are you all like making songs at that point? So you figure out you're doing good. The talent show's something to like build up to. You clicked up at this point. Are you guys like now making mixtapes and like pursuing that side of it all?
We're being creative through and through regardless. We're always being creative. We're always linking up once a week. I think we're linking up every weekend just to get at least... Because at this point, over time, like, the crew grew. Like, people knew us to be, like... They called us, at one point, like, the young little Wu-Tang, whatever, because we're, like, eight deep. It was in the point where we're, like, 8, you know what I'm saying? And it's, like, we're a lot. And there's a lot of different energy. It's a lot of different visions. It's a lot of different But we always try to.
Jamal's like, high school got me loving older women.
Yo, you see, facts. So now we a lot. Shouts to, he was with us too, man. He could attest to that. Shouts to my guy Hussein. We was a lot, and we're always trying to be creative, trying to write songs. And I guess to answer your question, yes, we're trying to make music and we're trying to spread it out. Now we were lucky. This is like the beginning of Facebook now coming into play, where you could still tag like 200 people. And
we're in high school and Facebook drops.
Yeah.
And how are you guys like actually making music? Like, who had the studio and all that shit?
Ski had the studio predominantly. If we're not going to like the home studio, he had it. Unless we're going to other studios, like I said, a wandering mind. I went to check out different studios as well to record, whether my own personal stuff or whatever. But as a group, we're usually linking up over at his crib.
I suppose people are going to be more likely to let a teenager roll through a studio than like a grown man just randomly roll through the studio.
Yeah, I guess, and think about it now, damn, like, yeah, because I would look up studios and hit him up, like, yo, I want to book 2 hours, my little money that I had, you know what I'm saying, I had, at the time, what, $20 an hour, you know what I'm saying, so $50 to get you 2 hours and some, and a mix, so it's that's what I was doing sometimes, but, as a crew, when it's all of us, we're usually, when we're some, if it's not all of us, a good portion of us are still there, pretty frequently, 3 or 4 of us at a time, recording for all afternoon, from like noon till 8-9 p.m. You know what I mean? Like Saturday, Sunday, or sometimes we when we started getting more gigs, whether it's talent shows or, a lot of it was talent shows or just like shows in the different communities that are taking place. We link up there, we probably record songs, then go perform the songs literally that we recorded that same day. You know what I mean? Or, we burn, or now, if we're lucky with we'd burn them on the CD and just bring it to the space, you know what I'm saying? So, we were very creative and we were very, there was a point in time where there was a synergy. Like, when you play a beat, okay, I got verse 1. Oh, no, I got verse 2. Okay, I got the hook. Oh, shit, are we putting a bridge? And we need to get a singer. Okay, I think, we know this person. Okay, all right, it's these types of discussions that are happening, And then Alansky, he's like, his brain is magical because he was recording us and he was mixing, And at a point, he started getting into videography. He was shooting our videos that are still on YouTube somewhere, and he was also shooting other rappers as well. So it kind of like it was a thing where we kind of encrusted ourselves in the scene in that way, because now outside of our neighborhood, we're starting to be taken seriously from the actual, at least the anglophone side of the music community, where they see Black Gloves, like, oh shit, everybody in the music community, because we're like 8 kids, someone knows at least 1 or 2 of them, maybe me and Hussein knows people over here. They don't know the rest. That's cool. We bring them and then introduce them. Ski and somebody else knows somebody over there. They don't know us, but we introduce them. So we're getting encrusted in the actual. We're part of the history of at this point now, part of the history of the anglophone side. With like that, especially that point in time when all eyes were on the city on the English side from like 08, 09 till 2012, 2013. We were in that mix. We were in the happenings. We were. Is that New Money show that they put together downtown. We was there. We performed. We opened up for Wiz Khalifa. You know what I'm saying?
So
we did that.
We're gonna go through that a little slower.
My bad. It's a lot. I'm just memories is coming back as I'm speaking. I don't often go back to.
That's why we're doing it, especially because like just to add context, during 08 to I guess 2012, 11ish. There was this whole like wave of a lot of shows happening on the English side of Montreal. It was like they'd found their stride. Various movements was happening. The West Island had people.
Mm-hmm. LaSalle, DG, Uptown,
DG.
Burgundy.
I believe that there were even English people on the east side that nobody seems to have been connected to back then. I don't really know a lot about the east side. We're still
same.
I'm not bringing it up to be a shit, by the way. I'm bringing it up because I'm started meeting people on the east side of the city. Like I was at a studio in Hochelaga, and I'm like, bro, I'm never in Hochelaga like this. Like, when do I go to Hochelaga?
Yeah.
It's still part of Montreal. Anyway, a lot of history in it. But that was like an era where like a lot of people who were involved in it kind of miss in like a glory day kind of way, where almost nobody participating in the scene today would state that the scene today is in a healthier state than it was back then. I don't know if that's true or not. I only started in 2012, so you could say I walked into the shit right at the end of it. I'm part of that wave of guys who started on YouTube and don't know nothing.
Yeah,
about
you see, so this is and when that was happening, YouTube was still early. We were still dropping like. It was still early and it was still low key, still genuine. Where like a view was a view. As soon as you go on it, it's a view. So we was getting our numbers up. Like I said, we was combining Facebook and YouTube, MySpace was still in that vicinity. We were still combining all of that, mixed with just being in the world, being in at the spots. You know, I could be very lively, I can be very vocal, I could be very social. So as a group, we use that. So
like in 08-ish, then, because there's so many of you, y'all have spent all this time hustling, making a bunch of music, and simultaneously owning that high school talent show circuit.
Yeah. It was a low key, because at one point there was 1 year where
there's got to be that circuit still.
It became a tour type thing where at this point we have connects. Okay, this school has a talent show. This guy goes to that school, so we can get into that school. My school has a talent show. I brought some of my guys to my school for a show. The other school has a talent show, so we could. So at this point, we could probably do and it's all end of the year, right? May, June. So every week we find ourselves at a different school. At one point we performed. I knew at one point it was late because we performed at Cavalier La Salle. None of us went to Cavalier La Salle.
So y'all just ended up at a talent show for a school.
We had friends there, but none of us internally was at that school to at least put our name in registration. So they're like, "Yo, Black, y'all want to perform at a?" Yeah, why not? Of course. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really. I'm thinking about it now. I was like, it was a real thing, and unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. We was kids, so we didn't. The way these just things happen, but like it wasn't like somebody could be like, all right, we actually have some kind of a structure. Let's clean this up, and let's put it together and let's present it to people to make sure it can get to the next level. But at that time, I say fortunately as well, because also like it's a test, because we're still in a period of our lives where we can do all these things and just go back home and sleep or whatever, but
so what he's saying is y'all don't need no cheddar yet to like live day to day.
Well, I mean, everybody will hustle. We had guys that will hustle, do their thing on their side, but
I mean it more like at like
everybody's
16, you're not like paying rent.
No, like everybody's at home, unless there's situations I wasn't aware about, but everybody's still living at home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we just have to worry about paying our phone bills at this point. Phone bill, food money outside, whatever. Get some gear, some fresh clothes. And
because I'm like a couple of years older than you, so I'm like, I ain't have no fucking phone in high school. That's right.
No, yeah.
You guys were like the first. You're probably like the first age of people where like it made sense to have a phone when you were like 13.
But I got my first phone in my last year of high school anyway. But that was me. Like I had friends that had it from way earlier too. But no, yeah, like at that point in time, you're gonna get a phone at some point in time. So all that is happening, and like it's just unfortunate we couldn't really connect the dots in a strategic way, where like maybe I would see it now. Like if I go back in time, I could manage like us as a kid. Like if I had to manage us, I'd be like, all right, all the energy from back then mixed with what's happening in the city. This is what we do to make sure now we're at and we were kind of on the way there. It's just.
Have one business motherfucker show up, see what was popping off, and go, I can make a buck off of that. Y'all could have made a lot of bucks off of that.
I think so.
Deadass, if what you're describing, right? It's like, imagine y'all had mixtapes at the trunk at every fucking show. Just that alone, and then that just footed, like, if you're really, because then, the second the money starts appearing, that kind of hype, the sales numbers kind of start to get attached to it. Now you're going to get gigs at big
Exactly.
Weirdly, I think bars would book teenagers if they thought it would sell.
Yo, our first club performance, like half of us was underage.
No, I know they do that shit. I've seen it happen before. Where like,
I was 17, bro.
Like, there's like the side where nobody asks questions, but then there's like that other side where you're allowed to perform. Yeah. But you're only allowed to go in for your performance. Yeah. And then you gotta like sit in the back, and you're not, like they have all these rules.
Yeah. I remember after we performed, we had to like just stay discreet, don't be around the bar too much, because I know feds came up later and they were IDing people. I think I was hiding behind a shorty, so it was cool. Like I had a shorty I was dancing with, so it didn't really bother me. But
So Hussein says, when I wasn't in the group, I always viewed you, Taigenz, as the quote-unquote leader, and that's part of why I officially joined Black Glove later on.
damn, I didn't know that.
See, I did know that because I talked to him.
I never knew that.
wild.
We never had that. Yo, shout outs to you, bro, for real. Damn, yo, thank you, bro.
I wasn't sure who the leader was or anything. But
Yo, like, let me tell you like this. Like, I don't remember us ever having a conversation where it's like, okay, you are the leader, you are whatever. It's just some of us just fit into certain roles over time, you know. So it became a thing. Was like, yo, Taigenz, you know how to talk. Yo, go talk to the people. You know, and
you the leader.
And I laugh. I'm like, yo, dog, like it's not hard. It's like, no, you have the right words, and then I'm like, all right, whatever. So like when we're in the public, you know, I didn't mind being the person to be like, okay, if they see black, they see me first.
Like the face, maybe not the leader.
The face, like I didn't mind being the face, and then like behind, like so. That's where like, for example, Lansky. That's where it was like the balance. We're behind the scenes, and when it comes to the mixing, when it comes to like I said, he was recording us and like the sound and everything. He was responsible for a lot of that, you know. So and you know, he was good with the marketing too to an extent, and then we just like mixed those strengths together. Where we're in public, I know how to sell us. You know, I know how to sell us. Or I'll take the mic and be like, yo, this is Black Gloves. Yo, we the younger. Yo, we from DG. Yo, we just, you know, whatever. I don't know what else. I don't know what the fuck I was saying, but like it worked. You know, you know, like if I had like Diddyfying, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Diddy can just talk mad shit and he could just sell something. So it's like.
So you guys are like 16, 17. You're basically owning all the high school talent shows, which apparently is, yo, like people out there, like if you have kids in high school, push that shit, yo. Take advantage of the opportunities. And then like that kind of caught the attention of the bigger folk in the scene. Yeah,
like the OGs, or I don't want to say OGs, but like, the older guys that were
RBRs in this.
Yeah, like RBR. Wow, RBR. That's real big records. Yeah. That's Jedi.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Yeah.
So like,
and I remember that was one of the first guys on MySpace that I remember that I saw that was like doing crazy numbers. I was like, oh shit, it's RBR. Like I was looking at like, oh, this guy's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I never had a conversation with him, but there was a movement happening with, you know, RBR. So that's like, I remember seeing that, and then the next person I remember was Swift KID, where his numbers were ridiculous through the roof. I was like, yo, I never if he's watching, I'm gonna laugh. You're laughing when you see it, but I always thought he was like just frauding bare numbers, whatever. I'm like, yo, nobody knows him, but like he was doing something right. You know what I'm saying? He had movements, he had CDs and everything.
I understand he got a feature
at one
with
point,
somebody in Europe.
Yeah, at one point he had a big ass the hey hit. Like that shit got him in fucking thousands of people. You know what I'm saying? So, and to this day, I still think about that. Like that's a moment. That's a real moment. You know? So
no, but dead ass, it's basics. If you ever ask him about this, it's like a good 2 minutes of him gushing on this moment, like dead ass. So like it really impacted people.
Yeah.
Yo, but it's like when you saw Basics on TV. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
That was a big moment. Like,
it is.
You see your man's on public fucking
it's
Quebec
huge.
television.
It's huge.
Like, yo, that's elevation for what everybody's trying to accomplish when you start to see the wins at home.
So the guys that, you know, that now, like I have more industry insight and how I can see things more clearly. So I don't want to say guys that were doing it all the time, but guys that seem to have been doing it. You know, not to take away from some guys had real success, but other guys I know it wasn't maybe as it seemed. But at least from what we saw, the guys who looked like they were in position and they were making moves for themselves, like them to be able to recognize and respect us was pretty dope. You know, one of the guys who I looked up to the most was C's Rock. You know, from DG Zone. Like I balled with him. You know, and just his rapping ability, ridiculous. You know, to this day, you know, ridiculous. But like, you know, when he looks at us with respect, like I really appreciate that. And that's that's everything happened in this side of the city. You know, we're in those spaces where we're respected we're just little kids, but we're respected because people actually view us and they see we have skill, and we're doing work. You know what I'm saying? We're doing work. None of us came from, you know, rich ass parents that could just fund the whole operation. Like we're just whatever we were able to get by from talent and just grit and, you know, whatever 2 cents we could put together for something, fuck it, we do it, you know. But, you know, I think it's just at one point there was everything, you know, everything comes to an end, so to speak. It's just like, you know, real life happens when you get older, and then your will is tested. Your will is tested. Your patience is tested. Your motivation is tested. Do you want to do this? Do you want to deal with other things? You know, other things come in play. You know, which is fine. And I see that not just with us, but with a greater part of the Anglo scene.
No, but that even just makes sense, right? Like, I'll tell you the number one thing that gonna be fucking up your group is the words "I'm pregnant." No, I mean, I'm not trying to like
No, but
negatively.
I know
like,
what you mean. I know what you mean.
Like, yo, that means that homeboy might think he's still down, but he's not, because he's only down when he can be down, which is, and then it's like, you start watching people like, yo, all of it, or you know what else fuck shit up? A good job. Like, you watch a man get his first like $100,000.
Yeah, he's like, why am I
gonna rap?
Yeah,
like, y'all can rap.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go make money.
Yeah, so
then, like, whatever you're passionate about at 17, before real
may
life
change.
Kicks in, that's not like yo, it might be like your passion. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's invalid, but I don't know. Not everyone want to chase their passions like that. Some people are just mad comfortable with that shit being some hobby shit. So like, that's like, as an example, like the karaoke crowd. This is a group of people who often have incredible talent and the bravado to get on stage and sing, but have no desire to pursue anything beyond fucking karaoke. That's it. That's just for fun. That's all they need out of that shit.
That's true. That's true. And I had to. I don't want to say I was vexed, but I felt a way when I felt like the people that I thought were really about it, then, you know, had, you know, kind of switched lanes, if you will, over time. Not necessarily just in the group, but just even in the wider community. You know, some people just literally 2 years before, I saw them, yo, videos were consistent, mixtapes, music, whatever, then bang. It's like, you know, and then, but I learned real quick that I was like, yo, like, life happens, man. Like, life happens, and you have to, low-key, you have to kind of be insane, or you have to, there has to be an obsession, a healthy obsession, but you got to be insane to an extent to still pursue it with the same energy you had when you were 17. The fact that people are looking at me today and be like, yo, like, some people, I bumped into some people just last week that I haven't seen in years, but they kind of see what's happening online. They're like, yo, like, I respect you so much for still keeping the same energy. You're even going harder now than ever before. And I'm like, yeah, bro, because I want it that bad. But that comes with sacrifice. Like, yo, the number of times I don't be with family, you know what I mean? The number of times I don't be with family because I prefer going to the studio, or I say I have a show, or, you know, I have nieces and nephews now. Like I'm not there for, sometimes they have birthdays throughout all summer now. The way that they were born, it's like they run the summer. But it could be times where, yo, I'm not gonna be at the birthdays because I have a show, because I have a session, and now with things happening, things are getting even more serious. So, you know, but they grow up.
Yo, what about travel, bro?
You traveling, yeah.
Yo, you go
traveling.
Shit, you get the opportunity to
traveling.
go down to LA.
And I don't second guess it. I don't second guess it. That's a big portion why I probably haven't been in a long-term relationship with a woman, because things are gonna come in play where it's like I have to, at one point in time, maybe make a decision, if you will. You know,
or find somebody that understands what the fuck they're signing up for.
Yeah, that's true. That's,
a lot of people like.
A lot of people think they understand, but then
even you think you understand it,
yeah.
And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh, God, I'm like out every second weekend.
Yeah.
And even that, like, you start feeling the effects of it, and then you come home and you go to the fucking, because I be out there at bars a lot now, as I'm like, whether it's because I'm like trying to be on that go to people shows. Man.
Yeah.
If I'm not performing, I should still be at a show.
Facts.
So I'm trying to put my work in, because I wasn't young and productive like all y'all earning stripes. I'm still earning them stripes and shit. But like, yo, that has like a whole impact on I don't know what my personal life really is. It's like, yeah, there's the relationships, but otherwise it's all these peers in music, because who the fuck else in their 30s is living like this?
No, I know what you mean. There's an obsession that has to be associated with it. And like, I was gonna say, yeah, there's something I read or I heard. I don't remember. I don't know if I read or I heard it, but it was just a quote that says basically like, yo, just across the board, if you have a dream or you're trying to get to something, you have to be okay with being. Sometimes you're gonna be a bad friend. You're gonna be a bad son. You're gonna be a bad brother. You're gonna be a bad uncle. You're gonna be a bad boyfriend. You're gonna be a bad husband. in moments because you have to prioritize that over them, you know. And in that moment, it might hurt them, but if they're your people, you know, they'll come around, they'll understand whatever, and it makes sense. But you have to accept that that's gonna happen. You have to accept that you're gonna disappoint people in on their side because you're prioritizing what you're trying to do. And I've accepted that from time. So now it's like
I started getting really cautious now because I realize how easy it is to overpromise what you could offer people, like socially.
yeah,
And you
yeah.
think, yo, we gonna be what? And then 3 weeks goes by, and you're like, yo, I don't even think I said what's up to this person.
Yeah.
But I made a lot of content.
Yeah,
I did a lot of things.
that's the other side where it's like even me, I have to, I've been working on that, I guess, inconsistently, but just like let me say what's up to so and so. Let me, you know, just because you get caught up in the grind. You get caught up in the grind. But you don't want to. You also don't want to get caught up in the grind so much that you could literally isolate yourself from so many other key moments in the lives of the people around you.
Or like the other side of it. It's kind of hard to sell tickets to motherfuckers you ain't said hi to in a year.
That too. That comes into play. That's why you got to show face.
Like, I started realizing some of these lessons in life, but one of the things I came across on that like quote thing, where again I don't remember either, but you should make it a habit to like say what's up to everybody at least once every 3 months.
Yeah.
You're like dead in that
Fair.
And like I'm garbage at this, motherfuckers. Like I know how bad I am at following up with people. I didn't know that my life would have 75 DMs in a day sometimes. I didn't know that could be a thing. Apparently, I see why you have a manager. I totally get why you have a manager, by the way.
Shouts to Hope.
Makes all the sense in the world to me at this phase of my life. But, like, yo, and then you don't even want to look at your phone or shit. Like, you just want to, like...
Nah, nah, that's fair. That's fair. Like, that's why, like, you know, I say I show face where it's like I just try to... You know, I still always encourage people to let me know when something's happening, and I never say I'm gonna be there for sure. I'll be like, yo, I'm putting that in the agenda. That way, you know, at least I'm prioritizing what you're telling me, and you know, but usually when I do say I'll be there, I'm happy. Like I do end up being at the spots, whether I'm there for 10 minutes or 2 hours, you know. But at least like I've shown like I said, I do like to show face because also it helps. You know, you got to get yourself out of that rut that you're in with the hustle, you know, like take a break. It's okay to take a break from the hustle.
Or find a way to make going out as part of the hustle.
That's what I do. When I go out, I incorporate it, whether it's creatively, whether it's business. Sometimes I go out, because, yo, bro, you got to live to have experiences to write about too.
Facts.
You got to live, bro. So, like, I grew out of I'm from the school of, yo, we just got to spit the hardest shit all the time. On every record, but that's lyrical immaturity to an extent. Wow, I'm gonna coin that term, lyrical immaturity, in the sense where if all you do is always talk about, yo, I spit that lyrical, whatever that lyrical, you know, they call it the lyrical miracle shit. I used to do that all the time when I was a kid, but then I got mature in how I view music and my songwriting. It's not about that, but it's about you making people relate to what you're doing.
I mean, I'm gonna give you all a little something because I've seen
saying?
Taigenz perform live like a couple of times now, and I remember at Timus, rest in peace to Timus, because if I understand the bar is dead.
Oh, is it?
You right after I did my last show, January 5th this year, fucking owner behind the scenes died like 4 days later. Rest in peace to Mance. I'm telling you. And then it still like exists kinda. It's in limbo. But, like, we went from, like, yeah, we're going to do a whole working relationship with Mance to finding out, yeah, sorry, this happened.
Oh, shit.
And it's not like the dude you saw. It's the guy that, you know, was behind the scenes. So rest in peace to them.
Sure, rest in peace, man.
I saw you there. And I won't forget how, like, you told this whole anecdote about being on Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
And this whole introduction and moment to it. You know, and, like, just having the experience of being there and then leading into this song about feeling like a star, having this surreal moment where like, yo,
Hollywood,
like, the first fucking time you go anywhere from Montreal to some other place, especially in the States where it's like kind of got this glorified.
Yeah.
Even Plattsburgh kind of feel hard the first time you go to Plattsburgh. I'm not gonna lie. But to go somewhere so iconic and then be able to relate that back into the song and have it just tap into your real life. Like, it doesn't need to be like this superfluously like English lit level thing. It can just be like, this my life. It's fucking blessed. And that shit, I find people like I find that more lyrical in a sense because it's expressing something that either I can relate to or I aspire to relate to, and that to me is some like dope shit.
Oh, that's where when it comes to songwriting, like I like to find a way where I can deliver a message, but still find a way to talk my shit. Because you still got to be fly with the words, because that's the nature of it. Which that's the part of it I'll never not love. But it doesn't have to be super complex and super extra, whatever. Like there's time. I feel like certain songs you should do that. But like I said, at the time I was immature. That I was trying to do that every single time I wrote a verse. Then I'm like, no, it's not. Even on love tracks, you're trying to be like, yo, bro, girl's not trying to hear that right now, bro. So like when I, for example, the song like Hollywood, I'm saying, go stream that Hollywood Etoile. So I just that song. I still find myself lyrical with that song, but I'm just having fun with it. First night out about in the city, pockets full of blue notes and 50s. Hit the club, and I'm adding real life shit. Hit the club, white tinks. Serving pygmies. Fuck. I'm like, forget all my shit.
Yo, it's we're in podcast mode. That's what happens sometimes. But
when you call back trying to serve, yeah. Right.
So like, it's what I'm saying though is it's not like it's not underground, 80 dudes in a room in hoodies hip hop.
No, I graduated from that. I graduated from that, and I think everybody should go through that. But
but like your shit would have a female appeal to it. I mean. I don't know who else is really bumping Crypto Thought, but like...
Oh, man, all the girls I listen to love that song, man.
That's what I'm saying.
All the girls I listen to love that song.
I think there's a phase in your career if you're really trying to, like, take your art commercially serious. That isn't, like, sellout shit. It's just...
No.
I want to make bread off of this shit that I've sunk so much bread into.
Absolutely. And
then you realize women... are the fucking target demographic to actually capitalize on your music.
Let me tell you something. There's three, and I say this super objectively as like a marketer. There was three. I think I was like 16, 17. I was like, okay, in hip hop, there's three types of crowds that if you have two out of the three, you're already on your way. I call it the hood crowd. The hood, it could be, the people that you grew up with, or your neighborhood, whatever, the hood. There's the girls, and there's white people. And
that's a fact.
And
that's a fact.
If you have two out of the three, you are on your way. Because the hood, at least, the hood economically is probably the least economically feasible. But if you're popping, the word of mouth is ridiculous.
But also, if you get a bar cut, the hood becomes fucking viable.
That exactly. If you find a way to make it easy for the hood will pay back in kind for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. So, but if they got you, they got you. The word of mouth is ridiculous, and that now the girls probably like women are the loyalty of the girl crowds is so like. How, like if they bought into what you're doing, they bought in unapologetically.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
And they'll go all the way. They don't care about merch. They don't care about spending the money.
They'll come to all the shows. The ticket could be.
There are girls who have spent. They're like I've had merch, and girls have spent over $100 on merch.
We ran the numbers on two people. And how much they put into ticket prices and all the shit collectively, and like between the two of them, I think it's over $1,000 in a year, and it's not just us. It's like that's what we calculated, and I know there's even more shit. And it's because when girls be down, like they want to be in the scene.
They want to. They when they're down, it's like they're so loyal to what you. It's like because. I guess they bought into it. So whatever is the product, it could be you, but they've bought into it and. You have to.
It's a combination. And you being access to this culture and club that they're part of by being part of your fan base.
And they're amazing ambassadors.
Incredible.
Because they always want to involve their girls. They want to involve their girls, and then it gets easy to invite the hood to the parties. Because if I say, "Yo, there's gonna be girls at my shows," pull up. They will pull up.
Yo, promoters, seriously, if you book one girl. guarantee you're getting 5-6 girls in the room that you would not have had.
She's gonna come with her homegirls, and then it's the formula is not a secret, like we know this, but it's just crazy when you really see it being applied. And then when I say white people, I mean like the masses, the wider masses, and the businesses and the structure that may come with it. If you have 2 out of those 3, you're normal. Everybody I tell people, give me an example of a successful rapper or whatever, like mainstream wise. I'm gonna say they have at least 2. Now if we're talking about niche, it's different. You could focus on, but this is like back in the day type thing. It's very,
even with the niches,
still there's probably a parallel.
What's happening is you're getting white people and girls.
Yeah.
Like white people love niches.
Yeah. That's very true. So it's like that was very.
Young. I know people who are like 19 years. Like this guy in Scotland, he was like 19, 20. I think he's a little older now. This guy won't even listen to your song if it has more than 1,000 views.
That's crazy.
Like that's the level of like you can get, but it's not like sustainable. But the white people market's fickle with their money.
Yeah.
They have to because it has to be comfortable. So like that's what I learned about them.
The palatability, if you ask me, a way where they can, if they listen to it, it's like, okay, I could, But like to get them to the show, I had a situation where I'm gonna go middle class, instead of white people, because I think it's a broad. Yeah, and there's a overlap when I say that, you know what I mean? Yeah,
but so this middle class / predominantly white audience.
Yeah.
So I brought 12 of them to a show one time at Piranha Bar. And it was
Piranha Bar, I performed there one time.
As I discovered, there was a little beef between a couple of cliques that were both booked on this venue. So actually maybe vet people on venues sometimes. I don't know. I wasn't the booker guy. I just was involved in the show. And I was like, at that time, that was the best they'd done. 12 people. Bro, I was feeling myself. A brawl broke out. Cops came. All of it. Bro, these were like colleagues. I couldn't sell a ticket at work for over a year. Because basically, if the middle class crowd don't feel safe at your event,
they don't want to go.
Girls will come to danger.
Yeah.
The middle class crowd is not coming to danger.
No.
Not in the fucking least.
No, yeah. So if I'm happy that anything I've performed that hasn't taken place, and hopefully it doesn't. Like I'm not saying my music is not the type to necessarily invite that energy per se, but then again, anything could happen anyway. So anywhere. So
in this case, I was the wrong.
It just happened. Anything could happen. Right? Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the wrong crowd pulls up, and But thankfully, in all my experiences, I've seen 2 fights and that one moment. So generally, I don't end up in violent situations for the people watching it. And in fact, most people in my experience lately, a fight look like it's gonna start. People are dead that shit. Nobody's really trying to have us fuck up the relationships with the venues.
Exactly.
Now.
Facts.
At least the artists involved seem to be more willing to keep their crowd a little more in control. Because I think we all saw what happened back in the day. Without going into too much detail, there was a bit of violence, and the West Island was fuck hip hop, and then other venues were fuck hip hop.
I know.
I think Musique shut down hip hop for a minute. I don't know. I might be wrong.
No, Musique still has the hip hop room, but I mean, whatever. I haven't been there in a minute.
I just meant as live performances, and anyway, Montreal went to war on live performing with hip hop for a hot minute, and then it's all good for the most part sometimes. Unless the cops that's I think in part because the French scene took over, and then they really it kind of I think the French component had the X factor that could mitigate and be okay, well, I guess and this is be making real ass money now.
Yeah, and language is a factor, so it plays a part. But I mean, I think where the English scene, I don't want to say, I don't know if died down is the right word, but that era, whatever was about to take stride that didn't end up taking place, the Francos were able to take that and then really take it to the heights that they took it. So, and I'm mad that shout outs to them. It just sucks that it couldn't happen in tandem. It had to be one after the other and not both at the same time the way it is. So it would have been crazy, but there's probably who knows? Like life is life. It moves in cycles. Like it's probably gonna be a resurgence happening at least right now. I'm seeing like older guys that stopped that are now back on it. You know what I mean?
think Montreal's English scene right now is about to have a moment like it doesn't even understand, because like already there's names being recognized by names. Like it's undeniable that Shabo's getting attention like crazy. Wasn't Craven just with Jay-Z?
Yeah. Shouts to Nick Craven, man.
Like, whether it's the producer side, like my man's Vincent Price be working with fucking Onyx and them, like all these other fucking names that are coming out. I don't know which projects are announced or not, but like there's like a bunch of shit you seeing happen on the producer side, on the artist side. Look at Husser making all these fucking moves in
shouts to
LA and shit.
Husser.
And what's cool about Husser is he be coming back and like throwing fucking basketball.
Yeah,
in the
no,
hood
for
and
sure,
shit.
which
Like,
is dope.
So
It's
it's
super
not
dope.
like the era 100 where like people just be dipping out and coming back. When you look,
And he was there too. He was that early 09 to 12. He was there too. You know, like.
And then I don't know. You see like all these fucking giant festivals. If you really look, there's always a Montreal name or two on the flyer now. A lot of the time it's Naya Ali. She be really, whoever getting her book be really doing their job.
Oh, she has a good team.
proper.
Shouts to her.
But like,
I forget I was on the cover of her album.
I'll say word.
Her second album. I was on. Well, yeah, I'm one of the faces on the cover. I forget I'm on it, so people recognize me from the cover.
That's
and it's just like, yo, you're on the album that got Anglo album of the year. I'm like, oh yeah, facts.
How'd that happen?
What
The cover?
her team hit me up. Her team, one of the people in her team hit me up. Now already, her being from DG, already knew of each other and everything. So that's like, everybody from DG kind of knows who everybody from DG is, or the brother, the sister of somebody, so that's one thing. But I met. So I guess I think she referred to me to her team, and then they reached out to me because I've done I've been an extra in like 2 of her videos.
Okay.
And like, for the cover, they reached out to me for that, and I was like, yo, I'm down. You know what I'm saying? I was down to help. And it's definitely she has good people around her. I think she just announced that I don't think she's with the label she was at, but regardless, like, she's moving adequately, and she's doing what she needs to do on her side, and it helps. And she's like, and the things that she's working with people that are on the French industry as well, so it's like it's a good it's a connecting bridge, and that's what I'm doing. Like what I've decided to do in the last year, a concerted effort was to build bridges more in the French industry, in the Francophone industry, just because they're there.
I mean, I'm just curious how you go about doing that, because I came to like a similar conclusion that if I live in Montreal and I really want to rep this city, it's pretty weird how none of our shows ever have a French dude at them.
Yeah. No, I get it. Me, my thing is, number one, just be at these places, be at the events, be at the shake hands, be at the networking things that are happening, where you're gonna have people that I probably don't know who they are. The more, like, when I go to events and I really don't know who's gonna be there, that's usually a good sign. Where it's like, okay, well, I'm definitely gonna meet somebody new, and that's a whole nother world, a whole nother network of people to get in touch with.
You're saying a taken tip is to not go where you know people.
Not go, but I mean, just tell yourself, if you go places and the least when you go places and you don't think, when you go places and there's chances you don't know anybody, you're probably going to be at the right place.
Yeah. So in a sense, if you're always at the same bar with the same crowds in the same room,
it can only do so much before it gets stagnant. Like there's a fine line between maintaining and cultivating relationships and just being in a circular motion.
right?
You know what I mean? Like, so the fine line is going to different events. When you go to different events and you bump into 1 or 2 people that you met at other events while meeting new people, that allows you to do both. You can create new relationships and still cultivate the ones that you've created recently, because them too are trying to meet new people, but they're still they're happy when they see a familiar face. So now that builds familiarity, and then that means now they might have an opportunity where it's like, oh shit, I remember we spoke. Yo, let me get your IG, let me get your number, whatever. How do I get in touch? I think I have something that may be of interest to you. And that's it. Or when's your next show? It's as simple as that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna let you know. I'll send you an invite when I have my next show. Then they'll come out, and then they would have seen me for the first time perform. You know,
you can wildly break outside of your demos that you would normally hit doing that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's amazing for fan acquisition. You don't know who that person knows. You don't know who that person knows. That person could be. I was literally at the Gala Dynastie this past weekend, and I was having drinks with some people, and some of the people I didn't know who they were, but the people I was with is people in the industry, but I didn't know who they were with. I thought it was just their friends. Some of them are talent buyers at big ass places. We shook hands, you know what I'm saying? That's it. But I'll probably see them next time and be like, yo, how you doing? You know? When's your next show? Oh, my next show. Then they'll come and then, okay, he can perform. Maybe that's just something to keep in mind for a next event, you know? So it's literally that. Like, just be at the places.
I don't think people understand what you just said right now.
Yo, it's simple.
Let me break it down. Artists, if you really like watch this game, had this one question. How do I find the manager? And, like, that's the question. Everyone want to know how to find the team, how to find the business people. You just kind of gave a great blueprint of something to fucking follow. So if the people you know aren't that, go to a room where you don't know people, then keep doing that so you can find the people that... Because you got to keep in mind, the people you keep running into at these new rooms are probably also serious, because why the fuck else are y'all doing
exactly, because if not, y'all will be in the same rooms all the time, not even trying to go to different rooms.
So, like, if you're popping off in random... And that's true. When you run into people at random things, oh, you're here?
Exactly. That
tone of voice,
exactly.
Bro, my God, that has gotten me into some good conversations.
Exactly, you know? And it's like... And it's literally... It's very simple. And then you could do that locally, like you... one kid asked me, I helped put together a workshop because Gala Dynastie happened last week, and they had a week of events, and I was responsible for putting a workshop for grant applications on Monday. And there were artists that were there, artists that didn't want to know the process, and they come up to me. One guy is like, "Yo, how do I make money off music?" I'm like, "Yo, number one, performing. If you perform, you can make some bread." Like, I'm like, well, first of all, with SoCan, you register your performances, and then you tell them you perform. SoCan's going to send you some every 3 months. Could be pennies, but it's something. It's a start. And obviously, if you're able to get booked and get paid, that's another side. They're like, but how do I get? I'm like, yo, bro, be in the places. I got mad shows just because I literally went to the shows I wanted to perform at, and I go dolo sometimes. I'll pay the 15 entry or whatever. I'll be like, yo, who's the organizer? Or I already know who the organizer is, but I just low key, yo, if you want to tip, low key play stupid to an extent. Some people just like giving answers. Don't be a know-it-all. Even if you know it all, ask a question that you may know the answer, but just ask. Because sometimes people just like to give answers, and they like to feel like they helped. They like to feel like they helped somebody in that, because it gives them power too. And they may actually give you something that may contradict what you thought you knew. So if I know if I know a promoter that is responsible for this, and I go be like, yo, who's responsible for that? Oh, it's that person. I'll be like, oh, snap, I thought it was this person. Like, oh, no, they were put on the bill last second. The real promoter is that guy. Oh, snap, I'll love this. Okay, cool, I'll bring it to him. Now you just connected with the guy right there who brought you to the promoter, who feels like he's a big man. He might be, but at least you validated that. He bring you to the promoter. You're shaking hands with the promoter, and be bold. I've gone to promoters. I'll be like, yo, do you have places? Do you have a extra slot to perform tonight? They're like,
always bring your USB key, boys. Always.
I had that in my key. They're like, by the way, I'm just checking. Do you have any spots open for another performance tonight? They're like, nah, man, we booked. You should have hired me like 2 months ago. And I'm like, all right, no stress. But they're like, you know what? But either I'll contact you for the next one, or I'll keep your information.
You know what happens sometimes?
And I'll be like, well, if anything happens, I have my USB key, so I'll be in the crowd. And I've sometimes that same night, yo, this artist didn't show up. You have, how many songs can you do? How many songs do you want me to do? Can you do 3 songs? I'm like, yeah. In my head, I brought 5. Like, yeah, definitely. 10-minute set, no problem. And then that's it. That's how I performed in France for the first time. That's literally how I got a gig in a community show in Paris. I went
because you just showed up.
I showed up with a friend. She knew about the event that was taking place. There's gonna be artists performing, and I went to the promoter. I'm like, yo, do you have an extra slot to perform? He's like, nah, we're booked. And I'm like, okay, but I just want to let you know, like, I'm not from here, and I'm leaving back to Canada tomorrow. he didn't hear me probably. He's like, wait, what Paris? Paris? I'm like, no, I'm not from Paris. I'm from Canada. I've been here for a week. I'm leaving tomorrow. I would love to perform if you have a slot. I got my USB key just in case. He's like, hold on, I'll be back. And then he introduces one of the guys performing whatever. Then before I go, he comes to like, yo, how many songs do you have? I'm like, how many songs do you need me to do? He's like, can you do 2 songs? I'm like, yeah, definitely. I got my USB key. And then he presented me as if it was planned. Like, it bigged him up. It's like, the next performance is special guest. He came from very far. You guys are not ready. You know, like, he's finessing it. You know, I'm like, yo, this fucking guy.
It's the game, bro.
You know, he's like, oh, shouts to and then like the crowd, and then I performed. The crowd was so, it's like in another world, because they never. It's like a lot of them never heard a rapper in English. You know what I mean? I'm the closest thing to American that they can get. Some of them will never go to Canada or the States.
Right. And depending on where you're at, they may never end up seeing anybody.
They see the States, they see New York, like, oh my gosh. So, like, you know, oh, il vient de très loin, je présente du Canada, Taigenz. And I start rapping in English, and they were all like, yo, who is this guy? At a random show, whatever, like, in English. And my English is American English. You know what I mean? It's the closest thing that they can get to the States. So it's like, it's funny, but like that's literally how sometimes I got my feet in the door in certain places. I'd be like, go at the spots you want to perform at, no matter how. Yo, bro, I asked Ricky D, who was inviting Maître Gims to the Place Belle, if he had a gig open, if he had an opening slot for me. I knew I wasn't gonna get it. He laughed, but he's like, yo, I appreciate you, like, you know. But you know, one other time he booked me for a gig, and I was like, yo, like, what's my cut on the tickets? He's like, yo, you get X%. That's literally what I told the kid. I'm like, yo, I'm like, yo, don't. Like, if somebody tells you to sell tickets.
Just for the record, Ricky D is a promoter out of Montreal.
Sorry, yeah, he's a promoter out of Montreal.
Like, honestly, 80% of the names seem to have a Ricky D attachment.
Oh, yeah, because he's been, for the length of time he's been doing it, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ricky D. Every time I see him, it's all love, so. You know, shouts to him, and he helped me. He helped me just out of. He didn't have to. He put me on certain shows just cause, you know. And sometimes when you go to places, you link up with promoters. Sometimes they'll do that. Just it doesn't cost them anything. They could disregard you, but they said, "Fuck it, let me put you on the bill." So that's when they say it's a relationship thing. That's part of it.
Yo, it's a fact. I learned that recently. That, you know, all of it, everything you're saying is like, damn, I've lived out shittier moments of everything this man has described, because like I went to Vermont to support my man. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go to Vermont on a road trip. Who cares?
Yeah.
Turns out this show is not gonna be lit, but brought the USB key or whatever, emailed the files on the phone, whichever version, and you know, rapped to like 15 people in a bar in Vermont. And you know what? That was my first American show. It was pretty dope in that regards. Like I really like fucked with that. Or like even like, yo, you never know who you know that knows other people.
Exactly.
And then you end up where like, yo, just this show, if you really want to talk about it, this show has like put eyes on me, where at the very least you can see I'm a consistent motherfucker. Yeah. And so like that led to me linking up with a promoter guy who watched here and there and said, oh, say where he different. And that has put me into, that got me onto the Jerry the Damager show.
Look at that.
And just because you put yourself in positions where you can meet new people. And, yo, I went to that Talk for Talk thing, which, if y'all don't know, they care about English people, and they want English people to show up. Yeah. But when English people don't show up, it's just going to end up being mad French. It's just going to kind of be what it is. However, I ended up, I wrote an article about them. I ended up hollering at them.
Good job on that, too.
And, yo, they was, like, talking about real shit. Like, how can we make this more English and shit? And I'm like, say a word. Like, I go to the event. And now I'm chopping it up with, like, organization, man, about, like, how can we make it more accessible? Like, you don't know. And, like, yo, that was, in my opinion, a really good $30 I spent.
Yeah. It's and it's going to return to you regardless.
Bro, I met a label owner and, like, 3 managers. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. There's managers in the room. Yeah. Just people.
There's people in the room that and the goal, they have a common goal, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's going back. It's part of why I said I want to make an effort to learn who is who in the Quebec industry. You know, for example, like iDisc is like the biggest. iDisc is literally the industry in Quebec. You know, for people that don't know, we have Junos, and I this gala is like the equivalent of Junos, if you will. And you know, I remember last year when the Talk for Talk people invited the heads of iDisc, you know, the main people that at the top, and I introduced myself to them like, yo, my name's Taigenz. I grew up in NDG. Most of the people I grew up with, like, they don't give a fuck about whatever you guys are doing, because we've always felt you didn't give a fuck about what we were doing. So that's why most people go to Toronto, go to the States, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, iDisc, why? Anything Quebec, why? Anything French, why? They're not supporting what we're doing. And I told her that, and then she was like, yo, you know what? Like, historically, iDisc was a response to Junos because we didn't felt represented at Junos, but we can't continue to neglect the community that is here, you know. So that's why we're here. That's why we want to try and, you know, start engaging, creating a bridge with the Anglophone community and seeing how
That's hard.
You know. And since then, I've like, I'm cool with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see them at other events. We shake hands. Hey, how you doing? How's everything? They're curious about my life as an artist. They're curious about what I'm doing on my side.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I think there's a whole bunch of corpo people in Quebec organizations wondering why the fuck Anglos don't participate. Like, they can't. They don't know.
Yeah,
because
they literally have the keys, but they're like, why aren't they here? But also, I tell them like, yo, because the reach out game is probably whack. But it's twofold.
I gotta give the grant people
it's twofold.
Like a little bit of love. They really did make English instructional videos. I'm talking the Quebec grant office made English instruction videos.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Like people be really trying to be like, English people, we don't hate you. Please try.
Yeah. So now and I'm happy that
that's like mad recent though.
Yeah, it's very. This is like probably post COVID.
Yeah, like
this
COVID
is now
made everyone change a bit.
Yeah. So this is still very recent. So obviously there's some people that are mad jaded from like 10, 15 years of neglect, you know. But it's at least, you know, I remember later. This was what, February 2022 when I right. December 2022 I bumped into them at a SoCan Christmas event. You know, and I see them, and I just say, I'm like, yo, I just want to say I paid, I've been keeping my eye since that panel, and I want to say I appreciate that I see the effort you guys are putting in. It's small steps, but I'm seeing it. You know what I mean? I'm seeing it, and they were happy that I gave them that recognition, and you know, it's now in the next year whenever there's things that can help bridge the gap, I'm definitely there to help. So it's just an example of there's people in the industry that do have genuine intentions, and they've probably and also we have to make the distinction that certain people represent the industry. Some people represent institutions, but just because they represented it and they represent certain situations in that institution, but they just inherited it. It's not like they created it.
Facts.
So we can't. So we make the mistake sometimes. Like, okay, not make the mistake. Like, it's normal. We see, you're at the head of this, so this is the problem that you. So we're gonna put the blame on you. It's valid to an extent, but if we go deeper, it's like they probably inherited that, and they're probably making it active.
Because like when you try to make like a real bureaucratic change, especially when you have grant
takes
money,
time.
Because like a lot of these organizations are probably running on grants and have a government.
Oh yeah, facts.
All this other shit. So now imagine they try to do something too fast, and Legault's like, broski, chill.
You know what I'm saying?
You want that cheddar, chill.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to justify nothing, but I'm gonna say that a lot of those positions
it's a slow shit.
Because everybody can see that the economics is in bilingualism in art. Because you see Quebec trying to who is it? They put Mackie Lavender in English or somebody. I don't remember who it was, but they've had several people do English ads and shit like that.
Yeah, Mackie Lavender. Yeah, shouts to Mackie Lavender. Yo, I've known of him from time, but it's only in the last 6 months where for some reason we met officially, and then we just keep bumping into each other. That's real quick became the homie. So shouts to him, man. Shouts to him. I literally saw him this weekend, and then we laugh. Every time we see him, we're laughing yo, dog, we're stalking each other. It's funny, you know what I'm saying? But shouts to him. He's a cool guy, for real.
I fucks with him. I don't know. I came across his music, and I think he has one of the more interesting and distinct sounds in the city. And nobody ever talk about him, and I heard it's because he's on the French side predominantly, and I don't know. Most of what I heard was in English, so I was like, his
content is in English for sure. I don't know to what extent his parcours his journey, where it's led him left or right. I know he's in and out the city, but you know.
Have you seen him going across Canada,
yeah,
doing all kinds of crazy shit? And then when we talk about the who's hottest in the city conversation, I ain't never seen a person say this man's name one time. And that to me is confusing because arguably he should be mentioned amongst anyone else that's actually making moves because
I would agree.
he really seems to be, from my perception.
I would agree. No, he
I
is.
never met him.
No, he is. No, like this is me now. My recent interactions with him, my very frequent recent interaction with him. Like he's doing things, man. He's doing things for himself, and he's accomplished. I feel like from what I've seen, he's already accomplished a lot of things that people would need like full-fledged teams to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty inspiring. You know, so shout outs to him. And like this, you mentioned about the grant system. That's one thing that, you know, I made the effort to learn more about. I was lucky to get my first grant in 2020 with Factor. Like I've never received a grant from Quebec. Like, tell yourself that. Like I had to go to Factor. Factor is Canada wide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's Canada wide, and that's one of the most sought out grants across the board. So to be able to get, it was pretty cool. It's pretty validating, and like, you know, I learned that you kind of have to be part of the solution in the sense, like, be part of the jury, see how things work internally, and also it's cool to know who works inside. You know, it's cool to know who works inside. They can give you some insight. So everybody who's trying to figure out what to do, you could be anti-institution all you want, but they exist.
Well, you can't get institution
they
money
exist.
And be like, fuck the system.
If that's what you want to do, yeah. If you're looking for grants to help fund what you're doing, which I think 95, myself included, need, it definitely helps boost what you're doing to the next level. If you have money that is there to create, you know what I mean? But if you're not trying to do that, then fine. But if you're able to, if the system is there because the money is going to be spent regardless. How I look at it is like the money's going to go to somebody anyway, whether you want it or not.
A lot of people get caught up at grant writers.
Yeah.
And the complications that go into grant writers.
A good grant writer doesn't charge you up front.
Okay.
I was told this by a grant writer who helped me. A good grant writer doesn't charge up front. A grant writer normally helps you and whatever, and it's fine if they take a cut at the end because they're helping you get the bread, right?
And then they can work that into the operational cost of the grant, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
So they basically pay themselves in the future, so they gamble it. So you're saying a good grant writer.
A good grant writer is willing to do that, yeah, exactly, because it makes it.
That's somebody that actually has your interest at heart.
Yes, normally, because you know it's two things: they have your interest at heart, and also if you get paid, they get paid. You know, so
is grants something? Okay, like the more I hear about grants, the more I hear it really is just about concisely answering questions.
Yo, it's just I get why it's intimidating to people. Because sometimes the question they ask is ridiculous. Like it's just like it's like, what are the challenges facing you when you're trying to do X, Y, and Z? I'm like, yo, bro, I'm broke. I need the money. Like it's as simple as that. But there's a way. It's the presentation of it that is intimidating. There's certain verbiage, this jargon that if you use a certain way, it looks well. Depending on the grant you're applying for, obviously. Depending on the grant you're applying for. This is obviously depending on what you're applying for. But in general, like you have certain grants, especially if you're looking for guys that if they give him more bread, they're gonna ask you more brain-wrecking questions, which makes sense. Like the Factor grant, the $2,000 one, the artist development grant, is 3 questions. Like, what are your goals? How do you plan to achieve them? And what is the... Actually, it's probably just 2. And what are the songs?
So it's really just like, tell us how you're going to spend that 2 Gs.
Yeah. Like, why do you need 2 Gs? Like, where are you at in your career right now? Why do you need the 2 Gs? And what are you going to do with the 2 Gs? And Factor encourages people, that one, to be like, you don't have to be super formal with it. And I'm giving you an insight. I've been on the jury side. 75% of the grade is based on the song you give, not even the answers. 25% is the answers and presentation.
So what kind of, like let's say, because like I remember watching Meyer Clarity try to get Factor grants and not succeed.
Yeah, and I was frustrated with him too, because we probably got rejected that same round too. Like I remember, at least there was one. And shouts to Meyer too. I went to Dawson with him. We know each other for like 10. Yeah. We know each other for like since 2010.
Honestly, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for. I got sucked into Meyer Clarity's fan base. So his fans thought I was the shit when I started performing, and so wherever he was at, I would get booked instantly. So had he not gone to Toronto?
Yeah.
And we
And I last saw him. I last saw him. I was in Toronto. It was for a conference. I bumped into him there.
I always wonder what would have happened, man, because people don't even know the wave Clarity was creating.
No, he was definitely, yeah. I was seeing it from at least from when we went to school together, and we were both of us were rapping simultaneously at Dawson. I was selling mixtapes at Dawson. He was doing those talent shows at Dawson too, like, and he had his own vibe, he had his own energy. So shout outs to Meyer for real. Shout outs to Clarity. I know it's Clarity.
I think it's Meyer Clarity.
I know.
It's official artist.
It's official artist name. Before we would I go by the name of Clarity, and then he added Meyer fine. But shout outs to Clarity. You know what it is, because from time it was that. So.
I the Nostalgic Tomorrow's album.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was one of the only like rap back in the day. I got that one.
Yeah.
I have an SRH project.
SRH, holy SRH. I think I met once. I think we shook hands once, me and him. He knows. Obviously, he knows of the group. I think he was more in communication with Alansky at the time. But shouts to him. Like, that's somebody who, I'm not gonna lie, I thought of the other day. I'm just like, what the fuck happened?
Oh, he went to LA.
Okay.
He changed his name to Benny Maine, as in Benny, Benny, Maine, Mayne. And he be dropping new videos every like 3 weeks. He's on a completely different genre, a completely different wave. His music is extremely talented, and from what I understand, he be living off of his shits, or at least doing it proper.
Okay, so he's active then.
Yeah, but just all of this, like SRH, from what that's dead.
Yeah, that's
like, if you don't got a project,
I didn't see the transition.
You don't got nothing, like, it's done, Zos. Because I remember there was one of his joints I loved on YouTube, and it just disappeared.
I think I know the song you talk about. It was probably one of the bigger songs that he ended up dropping, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely one
at that time.
Yeah, and then like they just all disappeared one day.
Wow.
Like,
okay. Benny Maine. All right. So I'm gonna check it out.
It's because you look at the face, you're like, say fucking word.
I'm gonna check it out. And he's still in LA now.
Yeah. But I mean, apparently he pops up here.
Okay.
He's connected to some people. Like, I interviewed Cuesta and him are boys.
Okay.
So like, I was like, wow, say word, and because I was HSR and he was SRH, right? So like, I did change my name inevitably, and so did he, ironically. But when I met SRH, he spent the whole night walking up to me being like, change your name. And he was a judge at this fucking David Hodges. So you think you
David Hodges, yeah. Shout outs to David Hodges, yeah. I remember that too.
So like, I met him then.
David Hodges. I met Stephanie Parnell once. Yeah, shout outs to her.
Like, I'm never changing my name. Both of us were like, and then both of us changed our names because of circumstance. And
wow.
I always thought that was a fucking
Benny, and I thought of that the other day. I'm like, okay, cool. That's good to know. Yes. Well, there we go. That's good to know. Man's being active, so.
A lot of people probably are, because, like, a lot of people also just, like, pivoted.
Yeah.
Out of, like, maybe, like, cause sometimes what'll happen is, like, motherfuckers will become, like, songwriters.
Yeah. Like, some people become career songwriters or session artists, which.
Like, if you play instruments, there's so much more of a bag doing, like.
Yeah.
Like, I found out the guitar players in Montreal just pay rent playing guitar. Like, oh, say word. You need me in a studio, $200.
Yeah.
You need me over here, this, that, the next thing. You want to book somebody with a band? You're not paying the rapper. You're paying the rapper to pay the band so that the rapper has a band. The rapper probably ain't making nothing off of that.
Yeah. No, and I'm seeing that firsthand. Like, communicating with people for potential band and everything. Like, it's really some. And that's the thing too. When people, like, that's one thing too that made me slow down on, like, being jaded in certain people. I felt like they just stopped doing it. They probably didn't stop, but they pivoted. They probably found a lane where, okay, yo, damn. Maybe on stage I'm not getting bread over here, but behind the scenes somewhere here is I found a lane, and they're probably doing it. So shouts to them, and some people, yeah. So I guess some people really found their lane and they've exploited it.
Or like another strategy is get your money up and come back. Like, I'm not gonna act like I could have done the run I'm doing now in my life if like I made what I made 5 years ago, and I was fiscally where I was at 5 years ago. Like, fuck, I can't even afford what I'm doing now.
And money, yeah. No, money is definitely, money is a huge factor as to the reason, you know what I'm saying? That's why these grand conversations come back up all the time, because
I feel like you have two strategies. Make that 2 G's or get that 2 G's off a grant. And both are viable.
Yeah.
And like, cause like, I don't know, I did my whole rap career was like, I just had a job the whole time.
No, I feel you.
Started as
I had like 50 jobs, bro.
And I had that same job up until December of last year. Like, the entire career, one stable ass job, bro. Like, I couldn't afford it until I could. And then like now it's like, yo, even even without money, having that stability and being able to slowly invest in myself over it took forever.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna act like it was fast. It's
No,
been
no, no.
fucking
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah,
of
yo.
whatever. But like, then you realize, okay, so everything is just gonna cost money, and then you just budget it all out, and so it comes down to how much is my project gonna cost. Like I know that it's gonna cost. I go with Sky for mixing. I know how much he costs.
Yeah.
I know how much time he's gonna take per joint.
Yeah.
And then it's okay. I need to make this much money, and then I get that album. If I can't have it now, okay, but I'll have it when I can have it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like why I think sometimes people pull back too, because like, yo, the one part that nobody talks about is that the next level has traveling, and you're not always paying. You're getting paid to travel is what happens after you pay to travel. I mean,
I've gone out of pocket. I've traveled. Like you asked me before if I travel. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to So I've been to Atlanta twice for a hip hop conference, A3C. I've been to Paris. When I was in Paris, I made a stop in London. I've been to I went to Cameroon to see family, but I was able to I was able to perform in like the club in the village or whatever. That was cool. But the places I went to travel specifically for music, it was I went out of pocket. The first time I got a bit of money to travel was I got a travel grant when I went to LA in 2020, just before COVID.
was that like through Factor?
Yeah.
So Factor does travel grants as well.
Factor does travel grants. I was invited to perform, and I sent them the information and everything like that, and they were able to I got it retroactively, but was able to cover like a good portion of the cost.
You had to pay it first, and then the grant. Came
Yeah, just because the event was coming up and everything, and then for the process of them to approve and everything like that, it was already going to take place. So I already booked or I had to book, but I mean, you know.
So then you basically had to have faith in that grant and were willing to take that cost if it didn't come through.
Yeah, because I've already done it before without no grants. So the fear was already gone. I'm like, fuck it. I've already spent more to not be sure to perform. This time I was invited. I was gonna perform regardless. I was gonna make connections regardless.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it'd be cool if Factor can help out with a bit of the cost, then dope. If not, whatever. I've already mentally prepared myself for that anyway. And I'll figure it out coming back how deep I am in the hole, and I'm gonna figure out how to get the bread back. That's literally how I've been moving forever. You know, for as long as I've been trying to move to do music, I've literally been thinking that way. It's literally things I've only been.
I know everybody looking at it like, wow, how's he doing it,
bro? I owe myself a lot of money.
Yeah, if you really do this as like a business, right? You end up having to expense yourself.
Yeah, I'm keeping all my receipts. I owe myself a lot of money. But like, I had enough. I have enough faith in myself that it's gonna come back 3, 4, 5, 10-fold, and it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to come back in money. It comes back in opportunities. You know,
facts. Or like I got promoted at work because I was a rapper. If you really want to talk about it, I count all the extra bread I got as gains based off of rapping because they needed a voiceover dude, and like. End of the day, it isn't getting paid to rap, but it's getting paid because I rapped.
Yeah, you're getting paid for your creative abilities.
And so, like, even this podcasting shit, I've made, doing the accounting, I make way more as a podcaster than I do as a rapper. Because, people fucks with, like, it's just easier to create content at a higher frequency that people are going to be more willing to invest in over time. Especially shit like album reviews. Interviews of Montreal artists. Super hard sell.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. And no, go ahead.
But culturally, what I've gained off of doing this, bro, nobody knew who the fuck I was before COVID. And now, like, think about it. You're here. I know people talk about me. I don't know how good, bad. I know both happen. But I know my name is now being spread because, people want to line up to do the show now. Like, it's like people ask to be on the show. And I gotta be like, okay, hold on. At some point,
yeah,
to it. Like I'm doing one a week these days.
Yeah,
I gotta chill. It's not like it used to be. Because back in the day, I tried to do a lot. Nobody was watching, but then you're doing too many of them. So okay, we're not doing too many of them now. And then we're gonna try and get everybody that we can. But like this, like put me into 2+ hour conversations with so many people, and then you can see how the nature of the show is just what it is. So, it got me to learn so much shit about Montreal, but also about music. Just the knowledge nuggets in this conversation alone are surreal, right? Because again, who the fuck gets invited to a SoCan party? I don't get invited to a SoCan party, bro. I got my first SoCan royalty check ever this year, and it was like $1.
Yo, I had my first SoCan royalty check in my bedroom, in my parents' crib, 43 cents.
That's hard.
This was in 2013. Yeah, 2013.
You've been on your shit for a hot minute.
I've been registered with SoCan since like Black Gloves days. We were talking about SoCan.
That's hard. How'd you guys get put on the SoCan?
It was a few times left and right. We get, as we go to those shows and everything, people be like, yo, you guys register for SoCan, like, nah, yo, you guys register for SoCan. Just left and right. At one point, we just decided to look it up, and the paperwork was like, SoCan is a bit more straightforward now with registering, because at the time it was, but at the time too, like, it's the first time I'm exposed to like music industry jargon for real. You know what I mean? Like publisher,
Nice.
like that type of thing.
I
Songwriter,
did watch tutorial
author,
videos to
composer. Like, I'm like, wait, yo, I'm like, what am I? Like, what name am I registering? And but eventually I got it done. So, and it's so I've been registered with SoCan for like, this is over 10 years now, and
It's like when you were like in that '08
Yeah,
era,
yeah.
like
And
basically the Bad News Brown era.
Yeah, and I equate that era to Bad News Brown. Like, unfortunately, got rest in peace, Bad News Brown. I know when he left us, it was probably blow that, that made a lot of people turn the page, to an extent, or at least it definitely affected the scene greatly.
I would agree.
It definitely affected the scene greatly. So, I'm just happy to have been active, and to for Bad News Brown to see us and recognize us too. It'd be like, yo, you guys knew this. His assistant at the time was the founder of Montreality.
Okay.
So, with who I went to elementary school with.
Hey, word, you went to elementary school with the Montreality dude.
Yeah. We've known each other since we were 11.
That's wild.
Yeah. And like.
And they're still active, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's still active, and he has a whole machine and everything like. And I remember, he introduced me to Bad News Brown officially. After it was a show here in NDG at Oscar Peterson Hall. He introduced me to him officially, and then one of the first people in the industry, not as an artist but behind the scenes, that was willing to just let me hang around was Bad News Brown manager Henry Francois Gelot. Shouts to him. Like, and I told him that when I saw him that back in November, and M from Montreal activities, he was in the city because he's in LA now, but he was here for that week, and I went at a networking event or whatever, like those late night networking type cocktail type thing, and I saw him, and like we gave each other the biggest hug, where I told him like, yo, I just want to say, like, in this whole thing, you were one of the first people to just welcome me in the office. I was down to be an intern. I was down to, and unfortunately, like, things didn't plan out, and years later, Bad News Brown left us, but like, not even years later, like literally the year later. This was in 2010 when I sat down with Henry.
Right.
And
because you're only now like old enough to even really go to the shit.
Like, yeah, exactly. I just if I'm probably 18 at that point already, and like, he was like, I went to his office, I sat down, I'm like, yo, he's like, yo, there's no budget, you can't. I'm like, yo, listen, I don't care, I want to be in the mix. I want to see how these things work. I want to, I'm an artist, and I just want to learn how, And he's like, all right, cool, I'll let you know when we have things, and I'll call you up and everything. But unfortunately, things didn't pan out. But just the fact that, just having that interaction, every time I saw him, every time from there, it was always love, it was always warmth, you know what I'm saying? And then, he moved to LA, didn't see him for a time, but then, like I said, see him now back in November, it was just like, yo, like, it's good to see you. I told him all what was happening up until my side, and he showed that he showed happiness for everything happening on my side. So eventually I'll catch up to him maybe next time I go to LA. Like, I was in LA in January. I didn't know he was there at the time. If I knew, I would have reached out to him when I was there. But it's, I'm definitely going to go back and I'll hit him up, and then this time we'll chill by the beach or something like that. But that's somebody who is an example of, there's people in the industry that you come across, and it doesn't mean they have to do something for you. It's not like, oh, one thing I told myself was, and yeah, I don't think I've ever done it, and if somebody has proof of otherwise, let me know. But I don't think I ever went to somebody and be like, yo, put me on. Like that's one thing. Because some people have done that.
I wanna act like I have it, but no,
that's what I'm saying. In recent,
I did it once recently. Person did put me on though, so I guess it wasn't the worst.
No, it's not. But it's like, but did you know that person who you went to?
It was like aware enough that it wasn't random. It wasn't
okay.
like I just met the guy.
Okay,
first time ever.
No, fair enough. I'm talking about like
saying like I just met a man.
Yo, yeah, like I'm talking about cold.
What's up? My name's
like
Holden.
cold
Put
calling
me on your shit.
Yeah, like I'm talking about the show when like, you know, give like okay, I don't sound like a hypocrite because I just said go to shows and say yo put me on the show, but that
I would say that's different, right? That's like you're like, look, I'm letting you know I'm available because I've been at a million of these shows, and like it's like
shit can go left any.
But we're not also talking about like you're walking up to like the Bell Center.
No. This is at Belmont when they have those. This is at the Blue Dog. This is at
of these fucking shows.
This is at places like Piranha Bar. Yo,
where like there's probably 20 fucking artists on the lineup.
Exactly.
And already it's like I mean,
you know,
I may as well shoot my shot, but like. When you're dealing with
you're dealing with
classier tier, we'll call it. No offense to the Belmonts and Blue Dogs, y'all my peoples. I fucks with it, but the white collar tier, we'll call it. It ain't the same shit. It's
like the people, the suits that we'll call the suits, we'll call them or whatever. The people that are in the people that their everyday is the music industry for real. In that extent,
like
and
the
it's
because when we went to talk, they're like we don't want to talk to artists. It's like those people.
Yeah,
like they don't want to deal with your shit.
those people. So. Literally going up to them and be like, yo, put me on is exactly why they say they don't want to talk to artists.
Because they got actual shit to do.
Exactly. So, me, it was always a thing where, yo, just so that if any artist finds people like that, yo, just show them you can be of service. You know, just show them you could help them. Or just be curious about what they do. Like, what do you do?
Yo, it's a fact. And, like, I wrote the blog by pure coincidence. But they didn't realize that their flyer was not in English. Like, it just was such an oversight. And then I had made a little snarky, you know, I'm an Anglo. Well, clearly I should have noticed the purely French flyer or whatever. Like, but they didn't notice it because, like, you know, sometimes like it just works out like that.
Yeah.
It was honest. Like, I wasn't trying to be malicious.
Yeah.
But like then you know that's memorable though because it's like actionable. It wasn't like I was asking for nothing. I was just like, this is my English view of your shit.
Yeah.
And that's different than yo, what's up? Make me feel special in some way.
No, because why you? And I'm starting to sound like the people I hated that when I go to panels, but they say the same shit. But it's facts though. Like I've understood this from time. I don't want to sound like that type of guy, but fuck it. Like it's
making moves in.
It's facts. Like if you got to do for yourself first, number one. So like me going to Atlanta, for example, was already you passed the test to certain people in the industry. It's like what the fuck? You came all the way here for this shit? I'm like yeah. I want to get knowledge. But okay, yo, and they're actually more open to sharing with you, and they're curious about like, you know. So it's not like put me on. Like it's a thing where, and this is something that confirms. I listened to the Joe Budden podcast, and they had a talk. It was a discussion at one point. They were like, yo, when you what's the funny thing when you hang out with billionaire rich people, never ask them for anything. If you never ask them for anything, that's when they'll give you everything. Wait till they ask you what's going on in your life. In the meantime, just be if you're around them, if you have the capacity to be around them, and I'm not saying it has to be us in NDG talking about trying to get access to billionaire people,
you know what,
but we could
like just to add on to that. So like the owner of the company I used to work at, I want to say billionaire, but 9 figures, clean. You can see his house on Google Maps. It's like that rich. We invited the whole company to the pool party, so now you have access to them.
Yeah,
and. You know what they did? They asked him 101 real estate questions. Like, he answered it, but it's like I'm watching these conversations like, what are you guys doing? This is stuff on YouTube. You have him here.
Exactly.
He's down to talk to you, and you're asking Bobo shit. I was so disappointed.
That you touched on a very important thing, and that's one thing I realized when I went to Atlanta. I don't want to be the guy to ask, how do I get my royalties like this? There's certain questions where like they're not there for that, or they're literally okay. Not they're not there for that. They're probably there to explain that, and then you're gonna ask a stupid You know, me, I told myself, yo, there's two things now. This is other, if you want tidbits, if you go to little things I figured out going to networking places, especially when you're not from the area and you want to be
this knowledge taken.
and you want to be
Nobody
remembered
talking about this shit.
and you want to be remembered. It's more effective. It hits harder when you're like in a different space, a different city or a different country.
Yo, you go to Toronto and it hits harder.
It hits harder. So I went to LA. I went to Atlanta and I did this. They had the conferences, and at the end, number one, what I did was I did my best to find an interesting question to ask. Number one, and I know that's very vague, but try and ask something interesting. Try and ask something that makes them be like, huh, you know, whatever you can, and ask last.
Just in case somebody else does.
Well, try and be, when they say we have time for one or two more questions, like try and position yourself to be like the last one or two questions, because then it's over and you're the freshest memory in mind, and then go shake their hand. Hey, I really appreciate you. Yeah, cool. Oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Montreal. Montreal. I was like, yeah, oh snap. No, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I just, you know, I was curious about that, so I asked, you know, whatever. And when you ask, introduce yourself. Like, hey, that's what I did. I'm standing up because I realized a lot of artists weren't even doing that. They weren't. A lot of artists that were just like, yeah, so no. How come no? Okay, bang, they answered. They forget about the artist. Me, I'm like, yo, how you doing? My name is Taigenz. I'm an artist. I'm from Montreal, Canada. Bang, already there. It's like, okay. Some people never heard of the place Montreal before, but they hear Canada.
What?
You know, it's Canada. Oh shit,
really?
Yeah, some people just know Toronto. Whatever.
Breaks my heart.
I know. It's like it's Canada, and I just want to know, when you said that about that, does that apply to whatever, some shit like that? Now you're bringing back what they said, and
shit. So you're saying a good question to be interesting is, does this apply in my country?
Something like that. Yeah.
Like,
we have this like that. Is that the same thing? I don't know if you guys are familiar with but I think of that. Could I be wrong? Something like that. And then it creates, maybe they could be like, you know what, it could be that or it could be, and then it makes them, you know what, I'll get back. I'm like, okay, cool, but let's talk after this. We'll share, and then sometimes they'll do that. Then you shake your hand, then you get their information, and then you know it. But it's not like a put me on. It's like, okay, cool, I would love to keep. I'll send you email when I'm back home, and then you just start that relationship, and then you keep in touch with them from time to time. Like even now, there's some people I gotta hit back up that I haven't reached out to in a minute, just to update them on how things were with me, on my side, you know. And it's literally that. Like, I did that just off the strength of being there.
Nah, so at the end of the day, because I think everybody's trying to avoid that process of actually having to socialize with people,
and that's why you get forward. If everybody avoids you do it, you get the one that's...
There's like a humility that goes into it. Literally the whole process, like, bro, I went to New York and, like, you know, doing these interviews. Yo, it is not lost on me that I am like the least valuable motherfucker in the room. Like, it is not lost on me. And a New Yorker is like, they won't say it.
Yeah.
But they'll say it with everything without saying it. And I'm not from New York. So
yeah.
So it's like on top of that, like my shoes don't cost as much. Like everything is like a step down from like the room of everybody I'm in. And I'm like, damn, bro. And you have to be able to like be cool with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, like, you might be the hottest of shits at Blue Dog. That don't mean shit to people, honestly. Like, even Belmont. I love Belmont, but that's not Club Soda. That's not fucking, was it M-Tellis now?
M-Tellis.
Or imagine, like, Place Belle. Like, you know, like, there's so many layers to the game, and it's like every time you get to the next layer, you're like, damn, I am just the smallest fish in this pond again. Every time. And then you have to be able to eat that humility, because that's what people are looking for, is people who understand the process and the willingness. Because then you play your role. Like, how many times you hear this story, man's is a roadie, and then he becomes from a roadie, turns into this, turns into that. You get yourself into the crew, and then finally your moment comes. Yeah. If it comes. But, like, it won't come if you're not in
Exactly. You know, there's a humility in accepting that you're not, that you have to humble yourself and do certain things that are not glamorous necessarily. You know, you have to look small, but you have to accept that you're small in certain places and act accordingly.
Or even if you're the man, sometimes it's just not your moment.
Yeah.
And like you gotta like cool off, and like sometimes like I'm the hype man. That's my job. If I want to be on the stage, I'm the hype man.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise, get off the stage.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like, I just find like, because like everything you're explaining about how effectively how you created more opportunity yourself was really just, to sum it up again, go to rooms where you don't know people.
Yeah.
And then keep doing that, and then pay attention to the people you know.
Yeah.
From me.
Because then your network grows exponentially without realizing it, and then eventually, you're gonna be able to connect. You're gonna be a plug for somebody. Yo, I need somebody who's in the industry. Not, just because they're in the industry doesn't mean they have all the answers. You know, especially now with the people trying to reach out the anglophone community, for example. Yo, do you know any anglophone? And all? Yeah, I know this person. Connect.
What I'm saying is everybody should be trying to know Taigenz.
I mean, yeah, number one, fuck, you should know me as an artist. Then at the same time, I'm trying to help the Anglo community and by extension the Black community for how I can. You know, I work with a collective called Advanced Canada, and they're like the Black music professional collective, if you will, and they're based in Toronto.
Okay.
And they're you know they established themselves just shortly after the George Floyd, all that happening. So it's like the industry's response in a sense. So it's a lot of people that are in the Canadian industry that are in that collective, and I'm working internally with them, and you know I'm helping them because they need eyes in Quebec. You know, they need eyes in Quebec, so they want to see how it works in Quebec in the black music industry, whether English or French predominantly right now, but still bring the industry side, the English side. So that's my current role. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to connect those dots. So anybody watching this, if you're trying to get in, if you're black in a community trying to get into the music industry as a professional, not necessarily for artists, just as a professional, you could be trying to get into A&R. You could be trying to get into show promotion. You could be trying to be a manager, an agent, whatever. You know, that could be the first step. And then afterwards, the goal is just to connect dots with other people that may be in that position, or may give you your first gig, your first job in the industry. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to help on that front too. That's like that's the community, I guess, the community side of things. I'm trying to work in tandem, you know, like
that's
while I try to I'm still I'm in like, clear development in my career, but
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people do, but I'm gonna let people know.
Yeah, definitely.
And basically, it's not really necessarily just artistry. It's just you could end up getting paid to be in the music industry.
Exactly.
And if you get paid to be in the music industry, ultimately you get to make more art.
Exactly. You know, if art is your goal, then cool. If you want to be in positions to help other people make art, you can do that too. So, and it's still fairly new. You know, like I said, it's about 2 years old, give or take. I just joined them the end of last year, so I'm still new, but I'm still, you know, people are reaching out to me to connect certain dots now, and it's allowing me to learn and see more of the industry, you know, on the other side of things too, behind the suit.
Nah, trust. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Like this show is called Bridge the Gap because like that's the mission statement, man. Like effectively, I see, like, as much as I'm here to talk about you, the more interesting part is this shit to me. Usually it just takes a couple hours to get people to be willing to talk about all their secrets in the industry.
Oh, yo, I have no secrets, man. Like,
nah, I fucks with you.
I don't have secrets because, like, the people that I wanted answers from, they weren't there. So I don't want to be that guy. I'm not trying to gatekeep necessarily. Mind you, like, because I said I don't want to gatekeep just because I know, like, I can tell you 1 + 1 is 2, but it's not going to work for me the same way it work for you. Like,
no, that's a fact.
It's really that. Like, I'm only giving you what I've done in my experience, and it's shown to work, and you could apply it, but apply it in your sauce too. I mean, so
I'm just going to say, like, everybody's story is the same with one commonality. I mean, they're all different people on the internet, but the thing that's the same between all of them is that part that you described where you put yourself into rooms where you don't know people.
Yeah, anybody can do that.
Network.
Anybody can do that.
This is kind of what happened on MySpace. It is kind of what happened on early Facebook.
Facts.
These were just new rooms.
Yeah.
And TikTok was that for TikTok is that now. People wild. I mean, TikTok ads is fucking wild. Like,
I know.
I put this fucking $30 into a TikTok ad of a performance, and I was at Belmont, and I wasn't even performing, but some guy saw my face and he's like, "You did that thing. I saw it on TikTok." I'm like, bro, I love this fucking app.
Yo, it got me. Some people on the street be like, "Yo," one of the viral shows, clips on my TikTok was from another podcast I was on. And so people hit me up. The amount of people be like, yo, you that guy from TikTok. I'm like, yo, dog, all right. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool. Like it adds to it. You know, some people come across you from different avenues, and then if you could bring it back home to the foundation, that's the goal, and then that's potentially a new fan.
No, it is how it works though. Like especially in this era, right? And I actually don't think it's new, but like if you look at the marketing side of music, part of what made Black Love, I think, pop was that y'all was a bunch of underage motherfuckers collectivizing in a way to create music, which created this lore and story that, you know, by the time you could enter it proper, you've already proven these stripes, but also garnered interest, because that is interesting. I'm sorry, but 8 guys working together in high school to actually bang out music before it was like cool to do that, that's a pretty dope story. But if you really run it back, Eminem was in a movie, Tupac was in a movie, everybody was in a movie. Like everybody acts like this influencer shit's new, but like, no. Like Tupac was an influencer.
The look just changed, but the idea is still the same. If you really look at what like the interviews Pac did, the way he lived as a person, Tupac was an influencer.
Absolutely. Like I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. We would use a different jargon term. But he kind of, like, if TikTok was there, you're going to tell me he wouldn't.
Tupac, you know what? Tupac killed the content game for real. He killed the content game.
He was doing everything that you'd be doing now
killed the content game.
Fucking social media.
Yeah.
And the content still managed to get created.
Tupac killed the content game.
And, like, yo, the clips from his interviews are just evergreen.
Timeless, yeah. They keep getting recycled left and right, like, because it's yeah.
So, to me, it's like, hold on. All of our favorite artists did all that shit. Down to Payola. Like, go read anybody's biography and tell me there isn't the part where they talk about the 5 racks they spent on this and the...
Yo, I learned... I forget who it was, but I learned even when Jay-Z early, he had to spend, like, I think $50,000 to perform, to open up for... He paid a promoter $50,000 so he can open up... I don't want to say Method Man. Is it Method Man?
I don't remember. But
oh my gosh! But this is like
early for that to to be like real.
It's early. I don't even want to say 50, but it was a significant. It was like 10 racks or something like that. Like but like this is Method Man in the mid '90s. Like this is like off Wu-Tang, so he is a big deal at that time.
Yeah, I guess I don't know exactly when Jay-Z becomes a big deal. I know Reasonable Doubts. No,
this is probably just
Reasonable Doubt. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. This is like pre-Reasonable Doubt. So yeah, no. So like I learned, I'm like, damn, like I'm not, and even me at the level I'm at, I've come across some payola situations. Like I'm like, yo, bro, even it shows differently, you know. And then it's like, yo, bro, it's a crazy. I find a way to circumvent it, but it is a part of the struggle, if you will, of the journey.
I mean, like, I just don't see how there's a way to avoid paying somewhere.
Yeah. No, yeah. Money has to be spent. I made peace with that a long time ago. I know money has to be spent. Where and why, that's where, you know, you go to the drawing board and you figure out your game plan, you know. But one thing, like, first time I heard about payola in Montreal was the Wiz Khalifa show that I told you about. Like I heard artists paid to be on that opening slots. We weren't on that. Like we were booked because we were booked. But when I learned that artists were doing that, I was like, oh shit! Like because they're trying to not just pay, but like to be in specific or in a certain order.
Well, say words.
Yeah.
So like, okay, I could see how that would work.
Yeah, some artists were given a certain amount of bread just to be like, just because it was Wiz Khalifa. Yellow Wolf was like the support act, so to be at a certain place before Yellow Wolf, or like how many acts for Yellow, because obviously it's gonna be Yellow Wolf then Wiz Khalifa. There's nobody going in between that.
Yeah, we literally went through that with the Paul Wall show, and it was who sold the most tickets until the brick wall of whatever else got figured out that wasn't in the who sold the most tickets tier of things. And I'm like, oh
man, that
fair
sucks.
Enough.
That sucks.
I mean, it wasn't payola, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Because I know that, you know, no, it was sell tickets and we'll remember you.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I learned a little bit about the economics of shows. These promoters is like break even if they're lucky.
The economics is terrible. It's a recession. It's like it's just an ongoing recession. Like,
Because, people be looking at these ticket prices, and I'm like, hold on. I'm charging $20 for me and my peoples. How much do you think famous person should be charging? I don't know, but it should probably be more than what I'm charging for you to come to NDG and shit. Like, I don't know. Then you find out how much they got to pay, and then you're like, okay, so you got to pay for their hotel or Airbnb, and you can't be putting them nowhere crusty because that's embarrassing. You got to deal with foods. Then you got to deal with the staff that's got to deal with the peoples because there is staff on the tour side of things.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much money that goes into these tours to, like, overhead that, like, these price points make sense if you look at the back end. And they make no sense on the front end to people that just, like, I don't know if I want to spend that money to see that person.
Yeah.
But, shows are never going to get cheaper again. Like, I don't see how, like, in the next 5 years that shows get, like, cheaper.
Just like everything's going up. Yeah, shows are going up. And the fact that it's all being consolidated too in festivals.
It's crazy.
It factors into, like, you don't have necessarily artists. No, artists definitely are going on tours and they're doing their venues and everything, but it's probably not the same as it was maybe 15, 20 years ago, where, like, every week you could see a certain artist for a fair price point. Like, now it's like it's the festival run. Like, you got to spend for a weekend 200, and then 3 weeks later it's another festival. 3 weeks later.
That's a good point, right? Because if you can spend like $80, $100 for a day pass at a festival and see like 15 acts, why are you going to spend $40 to see one act?
Exactly. Unless you are really a diehard, like, and that's why there are artists who are able to do that, But there's certain artists that just live off the festivals.
I would like to live off the festivals. That looks so fun.
For real? I think I would lean towards the opposite.
Here's the thing. I never did a festival, so this is like me without doing it. But if you're giving me backstage pass access so I don't actually have to be in the crowd, then I'm really down for this. So I can choose to go be like festival time, and then you can hide.
Oh, you mean as a festival goer?
No, I want to be
as a performer. Okay, as a performer, yeah.
But you're gonna have access to go backstage if you're part of the performing. So like that sounds like I could hide from the festival now if I want to. So now the whole idea of like running festival after festival, that just sounds lit because I can go be part of the people and the giant crowds and all the moments.
I get what you mean. I
feel like it. Whereas I don't know how much I really want to like. I'd be like okay with like the 500 person or less circuit. That sounds pretty dope.
I don't know. I lean more towards that, but like in a sense where because I've I'm gonna say never. Like I'm actually booked for my first festival, and it's taking place in Morocco.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, it's this October. Festival Nomade Afropolitain. It's my first festival that I booked at, and so I'm gonna see how that situation goes. But so far, I'm leaning towards like the hard ticket sales, where it's the people coming to see you, just because I don't have a booking agent. I've never been booked. Even like I said, first festival is not even in Montreal. I've never done the Montreal Circuit Festival as an example, and I don't know how it is when like it's soft tickets. It's people that they're just there. The festival is what brought the people. It's not you. Like me, it's like but that's me like testing myself. Like I like the fact when my energy brings people out of their homes to come see me. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, if I put on a show, I know if I put on a show, like I can get a considerable amount of people with enough promotion, enough performance. I'm not talking about like 500 people, whatever, but like just off my name alone, I could probably get 100, 150 people, at a $20 price point at the moment where I'm at, and I like that feeling because it gives me a benchmark to start off with. And
I just like think of the festival part too is how many moments in music history have taken place at backstage festivals in the last decade and shit.
I know what you mean.
And like if you're thinking about that, like that's just where I'm at.
No, I get it though. But there's the value to in festivals, just being around the other people, being around the mix, being like, at least backstage too, and they're just exchanging with others.
Thinking about other countries when you brought it up, like then you brought up other countries, and I'm like, nah, B, you're saying that Europe festival market?
Yeah, that'll be crazy. That's what I'm saying. I'm giving that impression now, but yo, who knows? After Morocco, and then I might just get into a fucking circuit of who knows who's gonna be there, and then I get it's close to Europe, so then circle market over there. Who knows? But that'll be that's
Taigenz is gone for 6 months.
That's definitely. But that's see now if I'm thinking strategically, that's an amazing way for fan acquisition. Because then if there's like 2,000 people at every festival you go to, and just what's 1% of 2,000? 20?
Yeah. Nah, that's
okay. No, 2,000 is even a small. That's actually a small crowd.
It's a small festival.
A small festival. Okay, well let's say 100,000.
Oh, but let's say though, realistically, you're at a festival. You're a not so known artist. Your little set will still pull like 200-300 people.
Yeah.
On a decent.
Yeah.
Day.
At that day, that probably might fuck with you, and then they'll follow up with you.
Or like you'll have passerbys who hear you and shit, and just the raw exposure to strangers. Plus, then there's, at least for me, everywhere I go is pickled up now, right? So like, everywhere I go, it's a bag full of shit to sell. So let's say I'm done, that's still so many people I can sell merch to and shit. I don't know how I'm gonna do that in Europe, but No,
I get it. It's that
it's
so.
Like there's so much to me, whereas like, I feel like I have to go do the festival part to achieve like that 150.
I do get it, yeah.
Outside of Montreal.
Okay.
Because like, if I can't do that 150 outside of Montreal, it's just performing in Montreal, which I don't know how long I could do that for.
I get it. But
that's just, again, I feel like you probably know the game plan for yourself way better than I know mine.
Well, as me
right now.
me as day goes, I try to like a lot of things are happening right now where it's like it's new ground that's taking place, and I'm just moving forward as I'm taking all the experience and everything all the bullshit, because you have anybody starting off, you have to go through the bullshit, you have to go through those stupid shows, you have to go through the no shows, you have to go through the 25 artists lineup where there's like
we just did
where only people that come are for their friend who is the artist, and then you're the last person on the bill, and it's 2:55 p.m. and you prepared your 20-minute set. They said you got to cut it down to 7 minutes, and there's only your girl there in the crowd, if that, and she's tired as hell. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go through that. That's I developed so much thick skin and performance experience with that. That way, if shit goes south, I know what to do. So, like, now it's like I knew when I said I was gonna stop doing showcase necessarily like that, because it's like, like there's not more value I can take from this, where I'm at. Like, there's a next stage in development that I'm at, and
also it's actually hard to sell tickets if you're available for free.
Yeah.
Which
now since 2019 was 2019 was the first year where every time I performed I was paid, and I'm never going back.
I have not yet hit that part, but I did get paid. Like the first time they're like, nah, here's like travel money, and then they hit me unexpectedly. I'm standing in the middle of Belmont. Let me send you a next little bit. This is your cut. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Please, thank you.
Yeah, no, and that's super validating. That's motivating, bro.
And then like we got booked for a festival this summer, and it's not a big bag, but travel's included. We got one meal voucher, and it's a bag.
It's something.
It's like my cut's over 100.
Yeah, it's something.
It's like, damn, like that, but that's in contract too, which that you need for all this fucking, like, some of the grants are easy, but you need to get your fucking name on a contract getting paid as fast as possible, artist, if you can pull that off.
Yeah.
It's taken me over 10 years, and this will be the first fucking time.
No, yeah, and the more you get into, the more it's new ground, and you develop more, and you have a better feel for it. Like me, I tell people now, like, there's people that they used to do shows back in the day. They hit me, I was like, yo, I got to get you on the bill. I'm like, all right, cool. Send me the info. Here's my manager's info. I'll forward it to you. And then that's when, like, they filter out. They fizzle out. I'm like,
that's the first time I hit up Taigenz. I think it was right after I talked to Jamal. And he's like, hit my manager. And look, I was very new to this, and I was my own everything.
Yeah.
I'm still a very bad booking agent. I'm not a good, like, for this. I do it because it's what I do.
Yeah.
But oh my God, I was so overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't even know how to ask a manager. And then I met your manager at a show, and she's like, "You're an idiot. You just ask." And I'm like,
yeah, she was. That's exactly how she would say it.
And I'm like, "You're making really excellent points. I see why you're the manager, and I'm not a manager."
Like it's because it's like it's at a space where I always knew I was gonna need help eventually, and it's not, and to the earlier question that people say, well, how do you find a manager? Like I wasn't looking for a manager when we started working together. Like she found me basically, she found me, and she found me through a mutual connection that basically told her about me and everything, and then she loved the work ethic and the hustle and everything, and that's why she said she wants to work with me because she's happy that she doesn't have to babysit me.
That's
Like
an important thing.
she's happy. Like I no no one has to babysit me, so to speak, because I've been doing so much on my own that like it's ingrained in me. Like I have a hard time delegating stuff to her.
Yo, dead ass.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what managers be almost low key looking for.
No, I have a hard time delegating stuff to her. Like I'm getting better at that now. Like I normally instinctively, if we spoke 6 months prior, I would have initiated a conversation with you and then tell her everything in the back end. But it's like she's there for that. She's there to.
Dead ass. Had I interviewed you then, it wouldn't have been this conversation.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm so fucking glad we got this.
Maybe,
one.
yeah, facts.
This is
facts,
hard, bro.
facts.
Like I don't even think people know. Like this is what happens. I go through conversations. Yours is special though, cause like, just to give you like flowers.
Respect.
I have yet to talk to that many people who have gone through the industry circuit sober enough to retain the information. Because I've met a lot of people who've gone through a lot of things, but then they tell me about how drunk they are and how they can't remember shit.
Oh yeah.
Then I've met people who have gone through it and just don't share the information for XYZ reason. But the reality is, I mean, if we talk about the volume of artists, I've probably met 500 artists now.
Yeah.
English speaking.
Yeah.
Just English.
I believe that.
I would say like 90% of us don't know what EPK means, let alone like can really run through the gambit, electronic press kit, that can run through the gambit of like fucking actually networking and shit. Like dead ass, that Talk for Talk is my first networking event, and I've been media for a minute. Like like when you really think about it.
Yeah.
And you know what that did? That made History Man take me more seriously.
Yeah.
And let's
Shouts
be
to
real,
him.
History Man is way more advanced than me and everything I'm trying to be on this side of my life. So the fact that like that caught his attention, like it's like all these different things that connected. And speaking of him, I keep running into that dude at random events where he's not expecting to see me.
Yeah,
whether
but that's
or
an
not
example.
I'm booked. And like that kind of ethic, that showing up at shit when you're not booked at it has possibly been the biggest reputational builder in my life.
Absolutely. I'll be at space like, yo, you perform? Like, no, I'm just here to
give you that look. Like
I'm here to support. I'm here to enjoy. So it's actually even it's like I tell people, I laugh. I'm like, yo, I'm like, no, it's my day off. They're like, I'm like, yeah, I'm here to jam, bro. Because sometimes it's cool. You're on the other. It's cool sometimes just to be there and not think about all the internal things happening associated to you performing. You're just there.
I can't enjoy other people's sets if I'm performing.
Yeah.
Everything before me, I don't care about because it's my set.
Yeah.
No offense.
No, but that's the energy, and then you want to kill it to make sure everybody after you doesn't do as well.
And the next like 10 minutes is like you just busted a nut. You're done. You're like you don't have it in you to give a shit. Then by the time you're coming back into it, you're not sober, or whatever. Maybe.
My thing is I like the point that you brought. Actually, I don't drink before performing. I perform completely sober. That's one thing.
I do not, but like I don't get to a point where I'm having trouble remembering performances.
I get it. No, fair enough. Me, I learned very, very, very long. It didn't take me long to understand. One time I did perform high, and it was the worst experience of my life. I was like, nah, I'm never doing this again. Like I could probably take a quick shot, like a courage shot, whatever, before the show. But like I do like to, health wise, and even vocal cords. I drink tea. I drink warm. I drink room temperature water, whether I stay hydrated, and I like going on stage. I actually enjoy going on stage sober. I think it's very cool because it's really, that's the high in a sense. It's like, yo, I'm here to entertain the people, and I could really do my thing. And then afterwards, I make the joke. I'm like, all right, my shift is done. I can get a drink now. People laugh. And then I go to the bar. Someone's already offering me a shot. Someone's offering me, because they enjoyed the set.
That's wild. Like,
so then I could party. Then I could be my lively and party self. I don't have to be too fucked up or anything, but I could just enjoy the rest of the night. So it's that's how I look at it.
I was like, I don't know when the last time I performed sober was. I know I can perform
Yeah.
sober because I do it. I don't remember. It doesn't happen that often because I smoke a fair amount of marijuana in my life. So to me, that's like, okay, I did it all high.
Yeah, yeah.
Recorded it, wrote it, all
Yeah, yeah.
practiced it. But I recently discovered I like performing on mushrooms.
Mm.
I did it one time and I misjudged the timing. I wanted it to kick in after my set, and
Oh,
then
shit.
it kicked in like this second the lights hit my face at Blue Dog. But yo, it went so good.
Oh, shit.
I was so emotional and shit. Like it was just pouring out of me. And then I tried it again in Toronto because they have mushroom stores on Spadina, which is just like, what the fuck? Okay.
I think I've seen them, yeah.
And so, like, you know, I did a little microdose amount. And I learned that drunk Holden does one version to lose weight. And mushrooms Holden does this other laid back version. And I'm, like, playing into that now. So, like, but, like, I'm only going to do this with, like, the songs that, like, I have what I call them. The songs I can perform so faded I can't speak straight. Like, the beat kicks in and blah, and then nothing else made sense. Those songs are the only ones I would ever gamble with that kind of shit.
Okay,
on.
okay.
But, like, I don't know. I'm trying to be a rock star in this whole, like, little shit.
As you should be, bro. Be that rock star, man. Me, like, I guess I say I don't live in absolutes. I'm saying that at least that's how I'm moving for now. Who knows in fucking 5-10 years if I'm gonna be
But
taking mushrooms before or whatever. But
sober, like, don't get me wrong.
everything creative I do sober. I'm not used
Do
to.
you even hit the studio? All that writing and all of it sober.
Everything sober. Everything sober. I think I did this thing. Was it last year? I think it was last year, if not the year before, where for 30 days, and I have to do it again. I should restart this. 30-day exercise of freestyling off the top every day for 5 minutes. And it's really a muscle because after and the thing is that some of the day my boy gave me exercise like, yo, try a day when you're a bit tipsy and record yourself and see how you rap, and try a day where you're just high. And I did that. I'm like, yo, I'm so much more smoother when I'm high. When I'm tipsy, I'm just like slurring. I felt slow. And I was just tipsy. I wasn't like, but it was interesting. But I did this all at home. I recorded myself. I'm like, yo, this. Next day, I'm like,
that sounds like a fucking lit experiment.
That's interesting. And then a few days later, I was high. And I was like, not too high, but it was like, okay, just playing the beat and I was rapping. I'm like, okay, like how words will come. And I was like, okay, this is comfortable. But I don't want to be used to that. I want that to be like another gear to kick into if need be. Like, I want to be so nice off top sober.
No, I feel like, because, like, my day job was professional writing. Like, when I say that, I mean knowledge-based articles and, like, blog, not cool writing. But, yo, you go through 10,000 hours of sober-ass, boring-ass work writing, and, yo, trust, there's, like, I'm good. Like, I figured out ways to, like, do some shit. But I highly recommend if you do fucking do a lot of drugs and drinking in your art making that you take time to remember to do it sober. Like, sometimes just wake up and don't smoke a joint, write some bars, and then, you know, like, because you never know, like, when you're going to be in the next country.
Yeah.
This is when you really, like, realize where shit changes, because you're not bringing weed to the States, bro. And if you are, props. I'm not bringing weed to the States, bro. And then you're not necessarily going to get weed when you land. That's a if you're lucky situation, you know, depending on what state you're in even, you know. So, like,
yeah.
And what happens if you go to a country where there's no weed? Now what you gonna do? I mean, like, weed being legal, we're just rolling with that.
No, I get it. And yeah, I don't, and that's the thing too. I guess I never want to associate that. I didn't want to associate being high to being creative, because then I'm fucked. You know, it's like, you know, some people can't record if they don't smoke. Some people can't write if they don't, you know. I'm like, and this is no judgment, you know what I'm saying? Everybody does what's best for them. But I learned, at least for me, like, yeah, I do everything sober. That's like the starting point. I try to be as nice as possible doing that. And then if I'm high, it's like sometimes I've written songs high and everything, but the difference was not so extreme where I have to be like, damn, I should write more songs high. You know?
Yeah, I actually wrote a song on mushrooms, like, expecting it to be like, you know, I wrote it. No, you couldn't tell it. Like, if you could not identify this song. It is such a everything else I write song that I was like, I don't even want to do drugs like that and make songs like that, because I was so disappointed with my, like, lack of anything other than what I normally do. Like, fair enough. Drunk me though. Drunk me's on
You could hear the difference.
No, because like I got tipsy in the studio the other day. I wasn't even supposed to record, but then my man JS No Regard bust out the Remy. I think it was Remy, and it's like 2 PM. Went at Make Way and people busting out Remy. Listen, I took a few shotsy poos. I got in my fucking feelings. I wrote 12 bars. Wasn't even my session. Now I'm on the joint. Bro, that is not what I normally write. Like, I do not come off like a bravado. Like, I sound like I'm ready to fight on that song.
Hey, maybe you needed that.
But, like, that's not me. Like, that's not happening without liquor in my music.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. No, sometimes there are times where it could allow yourself to think differently. So, like I said, like, it's not the I don't aim to do it, but when I do it sometimes, I just, sometimes it's a little extra small gear sometimes, but
no, but I appreciate all of it being sober too, because it's just also like, it's not lost on me that I probably lose opportunities because I smell like weed and shit. Like, I know how corny that sounds, and like,
but
it shouldn't be, but like, I know that like even when I try to like air shit out, I'll probably be pulling up still smelling like weed and shit. I know that, and I know that in the world we're in, unfortunately. It only been legal for what 5-6 years now, and with that, it's not like it's mass adoption of weed. It's just it's legal now, and for the most part, culturally, very little has changed except that people don't go to jail as much or have as much of that side of it. But it's not like the middle class be like, let's go smoke doobies everywhere. Nah, like I go to my cousin's crib in the burbs and she's like, don't go for a fucking walk, bro. Like, you ain't be smoking weed in my backyard so the neighbors be fucking talking. And it still be like that. So it's like, like, because the money don't behave and what's crazy is all the CEOs be smoking now. Because they're like, I remember shit the next day. And when you're drinking, that's not always the case, and I'm pretty sure you make better business high. Yeah, no, your bigger mistakes high are food related. They're, you're gonna blow a little more.
Yeah.
But you're not like gonna compulsively necessarily do as much as you might do on drunk. Like, so I feel like the world's evolved, but it hasn't caught up yet. So smoking weed, I guess
depending on,
it's like a poor thing. Like, people just assume some shit. So, like, I think that's why people invest heavy in colognes that are, like, nice and shit. Dead ass. Because at least you come in smelling like cologne.
Smelling good always helps.
Anyway. It's like 3 hours. I'm clearly, like, tangentially going all over.
Damn.
Man, I appreciate you, Taigenz. I don't know how much longer we should keep it going at this whole 10 o'clockness. I know we could probably run it forever. I would love to like have a part 2 with you down the line.
I'm definitely down.
We definitely didn't even talk about half your story. Shit, like we started the rap career and then talked about industry shit for a minute and whatnot.
Safe, but no, we could definitely do a part 2.
But
I'm definitely down with it. It's dope.
Bro, we went all this time and like you're just so interesting with your ability to maintain a conversation, but just the stuff that you've been through as an artist. Like, you're the dude that a lot of people that I know should be hollering at with questions. Like, how to get places. Regardless of if they're black or not.
Yeah.
Like the collective thing. But, like, because you be in rooms with conversations where you've just met enough people that if you start noticing this person should know this person, you're in that. That's it. So, like, I don't even think people know that about you.
They will. If they didn't, they will.
That's what we're trying to do, So, like, I think it's really cool. Like, I just think what you shared on today, it's really good information and shit. And, like, your whole demeanor and energy is so proper.
I appreciate that.
Like, the way you should probably aim to be if you're going to be taken more seriously in the industry by the people who work in the industry. Because you can go the other routes, and that's all props to you and shit. But, like, if you want that industry life, talk to a man who knows some industry shit.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yo, do you have any, like, music and shit coming off in the near future and anything to, like, promote and whatnot?
What's out right now is my Life for Life EP, the Lux version. Dropped it just last month, about 3 weeks ago. And I am working on my next album as we speak. I say next album, it's my next project. It's this one is on this one is an Afrobeat influenced album. So this is like I'm really just trying to pull together everything I've pulled together, the culture from where I'm from, pulled together. I know today right now Afrobeat is killing it and everything, and I want to add to that too. But I'm also trying to pull together just like my own. I'm working on a project where it's gonna allow me to actually speak more honestly about certain things I've been through, in a way that the message could pass more. It could the message will be heard differently with the instrument with the musicality I'm gonna have, and it's allowing me to get out my bag too. Like I don't have to rap my ass off. You know what I'm saying? I'm singing on this one. I'm rapping a bit. I'm switching up the language a bit too. So I'm looking forward to starting releasing the music from that. You know what I'm saying? That one is called the. Do I even have? I have the working title. Working title.
Share the working title.
The working title is called Chop Life.
Nice.
Chop Life. Chop Life is an expression in Pidgin. Pidgin is like patois, Creole in West Africa. And we speak Pidgin where we're from. Chop Life means enjoy life, basically.
Nice.
Like chop means to eat, but like in this context, like
I see it.
You gotta chop life, and like and it's a play on my last two projects too, because the EP right now is Life for Life, and then the album I had under Believe Distribution 2019 was Life Ain't Free. So it was like Life Ain't Free. The idea was like nothing is for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta to. It was my own way of saying like you get in what you put in. You gotta put in the work to get the result. Like nothing in life is free. Like even when you smile, you burn calories. Like everything is an exchange. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I tell everybody what are smiles for? I'm like, no, smiles ain't free. You're still burning calories. There's an exchange. So it was that, and then Life for Life was like the first project just after it was dropped it last year, the first version after COVID, like first project after COVID, because like like I gotta make this Life for Life. I gotta make I gotta live. You know what I'm saying? We gotta live. Like the world has been shut down. Whatever. It's like my own way of coping with like everything that happened the years like from 2020 till basically recently. So. And then I want to throw in a deluxe where I add in 3 new songs, 2 of them being in French, because I figured, gradually getting into my French bag too. My song Pas Idée has been on Sirius XM radio since October in heavy rotation. Pas Idée was my first French song officially that I've put out in my catalog.
Shit, I'm gonna try a French song.
And yeah, I got on Sirius, so it's been playing in heavy rotation since that. So.
Are they like? Are there people watching for English people willing to make French songs?
I don't know, man. Maybe, I think so. I think it's delivery of it. If you can pull it off, I think it's a matter of if you can pull it off. Because accents, and I'm being more open about this, but when you'll hear the opposite. You'll see a lot of francophone trying to do songs in English.
I know that bothers a lot of people.
I know, and the accent, it's the accent. It's not even the rapping, it's the accent.
I hear that. Like, Preach and Kobe is pretty vocal about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I shared this with a few people that I know that are in the French side of the city trying to rap in English. And I said, I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to help, let me be critical about it too. And I tell them, like, yo, listen, I remember I told a guy, I'm like, yo, I just want you to understand that if you're rapping in English, understand people are sensitive to the accents, and when I say accent, I mean like you could probably speak English day to day where you understand somebody, but the mastery of the language, we hear you don't have the mastery, and we know the mastery is not necessarily the words, but how you pronounce certain words.
I'd say
inflection,
it's the confidence also.
The confidence and just inflection of certain words. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm.
No, I know the cam's out of focus. I could not figure out how to fix it, and I just had to like accept the L on this cam being out of focus. I was like, we're live, and I know I feel bad about it, but yeah, it's definitely not as crisp as it's supposed to be.
All good. But as long as the audio is nice.
The audio's good.
All right, bless me. Audio always takes. Audio always
absolutely.
king.
I mean, it was in focus for a bit, and then it went out. I'm like, I don't know how to fix this live, and I'm like, this would be a terrible time to Google pretty much the whole conversation.
All good, man.
But I fucks with you for saying that. Like,
I was
honestly, thank you so much.
I shared this. Yeah, I shared this with us. I'm like, yo, this word, when it's said like this, because I can hear you thinking in French. So I share that they're like, oh shit, for I'm like, yeah. So just be wary about that, and I'm applying that too to me because I add Spanish to my shit. There's a song I'm working on the album where I have bars in Spanish, but the engineer and the producer, he's a Latino. So we were recording the song, and like I really went to him like, yo, did I say this right? Like I taught myself Spanish and everything. Like I have a good ear for the inflection and everything like that in the tone, but I didn't master the language yet. So I wrote the bars myself in Spanish, trying to do my best with the bars. So when I recorded that, I'm like, yo, I need your ear if you tell me that it's fucked up or not. It's like, nah, like for real, it's so. And I think people need to apply that. I had a moment
like that too, though. Like I wrote a French verse because I was being critical of Quebec language laws. We're all from Montreal. Both of us is from Montreal.
Montreal, baby, Montreal.
That's what's up. And Twitch ads are pretty trash. I'm not even gonna lie. I have no control over that Twitch ad situation. It's just kind of what we roll with in this current era. Thankfully, YouTube ads you can skip and ad block way easier. Yeah, I wrote a French verse and I happen to be on stream. And one of the guys that comes to the channel a lot, Zamanel, he's French first. He's like, Holden, I don't want to be that guy, but can I correct your grammar? And I said, please. Correct my fucking grammar, bro. And he made it sound like I spoke French good. I don't, but he made it. I'm not even saying half the shit correctly, but he asked if you spoke Spanish natively.
I don't speak Spanish natively. Spanish is like the fourth language now that I speak 5 languages. Spanish is like the last one I learned.
Right, so what are the other 3 since we've established
English, French, and then my family's languages. So just my parents' language, which is Limbum, which is the tribe that we're from. I don't speak it fluently, but I speak it well enough. As well as Pidgin. Pidgin is like I said, the patois, our version of that, and Spanish.
Yeah, he definitely does rap it all. That's kind of like we're definitely on the tail.
Get familiar.
Conversation.
Taigenz, you'll see the name.
Hold up. Actually, I have a whole ass Twitch command. Even all that's in the earlier parts of it, but I do want to ask Lindell's question because, basically, he wants to know your top 3 favorite artist influences.
Okay, top 3 favorite influences. Nipsey Hussle, number 1. Nipsey Hussle. Number 2 is Nipsey Hussle, J. Cole. I have this weird trio: Nipsey Hussle, J. Cole, Adele.
Ooh, Adele's an interesting choice, though. But, like, you're at that right age when, like, Rolling in the Deep took over the world.
Yo, that song is amazing. But that album was crazy.
Hit after hit.
That album was crazy. Like, there's, like, influences. I don't want to say, not necessarily, because I don't want to mix influences with, like, just favorite artists. But, like, influences me as an artist, as a creative, and everything. Those 3 influenced me. Honorable mention, Jay-Z in the most recent years.
Fair. He did a lot in the last couple of years, in like high class.
Because then anything else I mentioned becomes more favorite as a fan, whatever. Because 50's up there and everything. So obviously, whoever is favorite influenced you. But if we're just talking straight core influence, Nip, J. Cole, and Adele. I don't know if they want to know why, but fuck it. I mean, it's just those 3.
No, I don't want to go too deep.
Yeah. We could save that for next time.
Been like riding with the channel since literally 2017.
Respect. And shout outs.
I told him like we had to stop asking that question because it was fucking up interviews. He'd like ask it, and the artist would be like, like because people don't know how to answer to that question, and it changes a lot. But we're at the tail end of this shit.
Yeah.
I assure you that the other questions of rapping in Africa, family, from all that shit's in the interview. We are definitely coming to the end of it, though, because it's been a hot minute. Taigenz be making all kinds of crazy music. He's very talented, and he does it well live. I can attest to that. I've seen it.
Respect.
Somewhere in my TikTok live feed videos is Taigenz.
Facts. Yeah. So I think I've seen.
So, like, end of the day, he's a really cool dude. Y'all should peep this whole interview if you're coming in at the end of it. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in the VOD. It might not be immediate. If it takes an hour, it is what it is. But thank you for the fucking showing up and asking questions.
Nah, for sure.
Dead ass, when you start seeing the chat move, like low key, or like, but people are there. It starts feeling more like we're at a concert and the crowd starts bopping and this shit.
I know.
Shout out Jamal Hussein. Like I said, the people
My
who
G.
come on Twitch, they don't leave. Jamal been riding.
Nah, I know, yo.
Interview
but that's
like
my brother, man. That's my brother for real. Like we go back for real, man.
But yeah, though,
going on 20 years. Fuck, damn near.
It really is like that.
Fuck,
we're not young no more. But yo, what's crazy is we still in it and we still making it happen. All y'all could follow Taigenz on Instagram at Taigenz, spelled the same way as the art, Taigenz, whatever.
Yeah.
For all y'all out there. And then his music is under that name. You'll see Montreal.
Yes, sir.
If you see that pop up, that's because we from Montreal. It's what it is. And I also like how he made it a money tree. Montreal.
Yeah, because that's the idea. Yeah,
that's fucking hard. So y'all can follow him, show the love and support and all that. Links will be in description in the future versions of this. But really, this man be doing it in a way that is really impressive. I just had to like put that out there. And yo, it's dope that NYC's tuning in still.
Oh, shout outs! I might be in the city. Yo. I might be in the city in months to come. So
I will be in the city in
Stay
May.
tuned on my IG.
We down filming some interviews May 14th to 18th. So I'll be in fucking Brooklyn. So looking forward to that shit. But
nice.
Yeah, if y'all want to support the cause, y'all can hit us up at patreon.com/behindthatsuit. I have to update the rewards and make them more applicable to life. But you can give us money and we'll figure that shit out. Otherwise, like, follow, subscribe. All of the fucking dope shit that you can do. If you have Amazon Prime, fucking thank you, Stream Elements. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free to fucking throw $2.50 at the channel with that subscription. I'll be in there. I would love you to bring herbs, but yeah, I'll be down there to film interviews. That's what we're gonna be doing. It's gonna be a week of that. I don't have an itinerary yet. Come through on the channel as we get closer. I'll have better answers to those questions. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good shit again, etc. Live long and prosper, everybody. And now I'm going to go start the raid.
Peace.